Warrior Lore. Chapter 3407. Wang Xian swayed his huge body with the purple lightning snake by his side and the five elements grindstone hovering above his head. He moved and charged towards the group of experts from the Great Thunderclap Academy and Divine Thunder City. Kill him. I don't believe he can fight against the seven of us. An expert from the Great Thunderclap Academy gritted his teeth as he sensed the aura of Wang Xian and the rest. They didn't believe that the Grand Senior Brother from the Thunder Light Tribe could fight against the seven of them alone. Kill. The seven pinnacle supremacies of the universe roared and charged towards Wang Xian. Be careful, Grand Senior Brother. Be careful, Grand Senior Brother. The group of disciples from the Thunder Light Tribe reminded Wang Xian loudly when they saw the seven pinnacle supremacies besieging Wang Xian. Roar, roar. Wang Xian let out a deep roar. The five elements grindstone above his head glowed brightly, and beams of energy rushed towards them. The purple lightning snake lifted its head and charged forward. Wang Xian swayed his huge body and moved. He flapped his unbeginning saint wings and displayed a terrifying speed. Swoosh! The moment they surrounded him, Wang Xian had already arrived behind them with his terrifying speed. Soaring cloud mist. Wang Xian let out a deep roar. The surrounding clouds began to gather and covered a radius of more than 1 billion kilometers in an instant. All of them were shrouded in it. As they were surrounded by thunderclouds, the ability of the soaring cloud mist was even more terrifying. Within this space, everyone's vision was enhanced. Be careful. Expel these clouds. An expert from the Divine Thunder City shouted. Boom. At this moment, a terrifying dragon tail swept across. Be careful. The surrounding experts roared. The face of the expert who was attacked changed slightly, and he hurriedly tried to defend himself. Bam. However, he was caught off guard and was sent flying by the powerful force. He spat out fresh blood. He's very fast. He must have an inborn spiritual treasure with him. Let's stick together. The expert who was sent flying immediately roared loudly with an ugly expression on his face. They had never imagined that they would be in a passive position when fighting against seven alone. At this time, the purple thunder snake also rushed over, lightning raging on its body. The Khanate spiritual treasure released a powerful lightning pillar that swept towards the experts. The five elements grindstone revolved and charged over as well. Block this powerful weapon and that lightning snake. Their expressions changed once again when they sensed the might contained within the five elements grindstone. Based on their senses, this five elements grindstone was even more terrifying than the strange eldest senior brother of the lightning race. The most terrifying thing about the Thunder Light race's eldest senior brother was his speed. The most terrifying aspect of the five elements grindstone lay in its attacks. All sorts of elemental weapon attacks overwhelmed them, especially for those two peak universe supremacies. They had already witnessed the power of the five elements grindstone. Its frightening attack wasn't something that two pinnacle supremacies could resist. 4 experts faced off against the five elements grindstone and the purple lightning snake, while the remaining 3 pinnacle supremacies of the universe dealt with Wang Xian. Trap him. The 3 experts who were fighting against Wang Xian let out a furious roar. They stood in a triangle with their backs facing each other and stared at the surrounding void. Restraining thunderbolts and chains were held in their hands as they awaited Wang Xian's attack with a cold expression. Hee hee. Wang Xian chuckled. He didn't attack the 3 of them. Instead, he flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and launched a sneak attack on the flying purple lightning snake. Damn it! Hold him back. The old man who had just collided with the purple lightning snake was pushed back. He sensed a terrifying force charging towards him and immediately shouted, Damn it! His speed is comparable to a pinnacle universe lord expert. It's impossible for us to stop him. The 3 experts who were huddled together were shocked when they saw this. Wang Xian's speed was very fast, and he could maintain the upper hand. He could deal with 3 alone. Similarly, the 5 elements grindstone could deal with 3 alone. As for the purple lightning snake, it could deal with 2 alone. But now, the other party only had 7 pinnacle universe supremacies. Moreover, they didn't have any innate spiritual treasures in their hands. Under such circumstances, the other party wasn't a match for Wang Xian and the rest. They would be suppressed by Wang Xian and the rest. Perhaps it would be very difficult for Wang Xian to kill them. But if they were to fight for a day or two, he could still find an opportunity to exhaust one of them. Once the balance was broken, the other party wouldn't be a match for him. Swish, swish, swish. Thunderbolt chains and ropes appeared behind him. Wang Xian had no choice but to give up on attacking that expert. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and left instantly. Phew! Sensing that the danger had disappeared, the expert heaved a heavy sigh of relief. He stared at the purple lightning snake in front of him and shouted, "I'm not a match for this lightning snake. I'll be completely suppressed. Once the big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race attacks me, I'll be in grave danger." Phew! How can this guy be so strong? Even the 7 pinnacle universe supremacies can't do anything to him. Upon hearing his words, the experts from the Divine Thunder City and the Great Lane Academy were extremely embarrassed. It was 7 against 1. Under such circumstances, they were in a passive position and completely led by the other party. This made them feel embarrassed and fearful at the same time. The strength of the other party was truly terrifying. Dean, the big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race, is very strong. We can only barely restrain him. An expert from the Great Lane Academy bellowed in a low voice as he transmitted the information over to the Dean of the Great Lane Academy. What? When Wang Xian and the rest were shrouded in clouds and mist, they couldn't sense the exact situation over here. However, for the experts from the Great Lane Academy, the Divine Thunder City, and the Great Lane Academy, wouldn't it be a piece of cake to deal with the big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race when it was 7 against 1? They had never expected such news to spread. 7 against 1, and they could only barely restrain him. Was the big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race really that strong? Could it be said that the strength of the big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race alone was comparable to the combined strength of the Thunder Light Race's Patriarch and Supreme Elder? How can this be? How can he be so strong? The city lords of the Purple City and Luyan City were shocked when they received the news. The reason why they had joined in to deal with the Thunder Light Race was because they were 100% confident. However, now that such an expert had appeared from the Thunder Light Race, it was basically impossible for them to defeat them. In that case, they would become mortal enemies with the Thunder Light Race from now on. Given the strength of the Purple City and Luyan City, there was no way they could withstand the revenge of the Thunder Light Race. Chapter 3408. Ha ha ha, great. Our senior brother from the Thunder Light Tribe is truly invincible. He's strong. He's going against 7 pinnacle supremacies alone. Ha ha ha. The chief of the Thunder Light Tribe and the rest were thrilled upon hearing Wang Xian's words. They had not expected Wang Xian to be so invincible. After killing 2 pinnacle supremacies, he was still able to go against 7. That was too strong. Now that Wang Xian had helped them fend off 7 pinnacle supremacies, they only had to face 8 pinnacle supremacies. 7 against 8. Under such circumstances, the Great Lane Academy and the other 3 major forces could forget about defeating the Thunder Light Tribe. This time, the crisis of the Thunder Light Tribe could be overcome. Next, it was time for them to take revenge. Kill. Our senior brother killed 2 pinnacle supremacies and didn't seem to be at a disadvantage against 7. Kill them. Kill them all. The members of the Thunder Light Tribe's army and disciples were all thrilled upon hearing the words of the experts from the Great Lane Academy. With their morale boosted, their fighting strength also surged. On the other hand, the troops and disciples from the Great Lane Academy, Divine Thunder City, Purple City, and Luyan City were all embarrassed. Their fighting spirit had been completely crushed. Wang Xian's appearance had killed millions of disciples. Now, he had displayed such terrifying strength. The disciples also knew that they had lost this time. It was especially so for the disciples from Divine Thunder City, Purple City, and Luyan City. This battle was already difficult to win, and they would probably suffer the revenge of the Thunder Light Tribe. This was undoubtedly a nightmare for them. Director of the Great Lane Academy, what should we do now? We can't break through the defensive line of the Thunder Light Tribe. The City Lord of Purple City transmitted a message to the director of the Great Lane Academy with a gloomy expression. The director of the Great Lane Academy was also changing his expression constantly. His face was gloomy as he sensed the violent attacks from the chief of the Thunder Light tribe and the rest. 8 against 7. Although they had the upper hand, at least half of them would die if they were to fight to the end. They couldn't bear the consequences of killing 1,000 enemies while sacrificing 800 of their own. Whoosh whoosh. The director of the Great Lane Academy scanned the surroundings. The disciples' battle wasn't one-sided. After all, this was the Thunder Light tribe's territory. The Thunder Light tribe had the geographical advantage, so killing 3 Thunder Light tribe disciples would result in 2 losses on their side. It was not worth it at all. Damn it, we can't win at all. Let's retreat first. We can discuss this in detail after we retreat. The headmaster of the Great Lane Academy gritted his teeth and said with a gloomy expression. The experts of Luyin City, Purple City, and Divine Thunder City shuddered and nodded with dark faces. This was especially true for the Divine Thunder City, as the loss this time was simply too great. Even the city lord had died here. All disciples of the Great Lane Academy, retreat. All disciples, retreat. The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy roared out, his voice filled with unwillingness. It had not been easy for him to rope in a few large factions and find such an opportunity. However, he had suffered a crushing defeat because of a senior disciple from the Thunder Ray race. He couldn't accept this, but there was nothing he could do. Retreat. All disciples of Divine Thunder City, retreat. All disciples of Purple City, retreat. All disciples of Luyin City, retreat. Orders rang out on the battlefield. Less than 5 minutes had passed since the start of the battle. They had no choice but to retreat at such a time. It was already impossible for them to achieve a great victory, and there was no need to continue fighting. Now that they had retreated, they discussed their next plan. Retreat. Hurry up and retreat. Phew. Damn it. We can't do anything to the Thunder Ray race this time. They will definitely take revenge on us next. How can the senior disciple of the Thunder Ray race be so strong? How can he fight against 7 people alone? The city lord of our Divine Thunder City has been killed by the senior disciple of the Thunder Ray race. He's too terrifying. The group of disciples from the army retreated as they bellowed in a low voice. The death of 2 Pinnacle Universe Venerables was a huge loss to them. Furthermore, the senior disciple of the Great Thunderclap Academy had also died. They had suffered too many losses in this battle. Next, they would have to face the revenge of the Thunder Ray race. Ha ha ha. A bunch of trash. Continue attacking us. Purple City, Luyin City, Divine Thunder City. All your disciples better wait and see. I'll kill every single one of you in the future. The Thunder Ray race will definitely seek revenge for today's grudge. Just you wait. All the elite disciples of the Thunder Ray race shouted at them excitedly. They were especially prepared to take revenge on the elite disciples of the 3 great cities. Thunder Ray race, don't be too arrogant. You might have escaped today, but you won't be able to escape tomorrow. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the rest bellowed indignantly as they broke away from the leader of the Thunder Ray race and the rest. Retreat. At the same time, the 7 peak supremacies who were fighting with Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief when they heard the order. The 7 of them immediately flew together and stared at Wang Xian warily as they retreated continuously. It was too frustrating to fight the senior disciple of the Thunder Ray race. The other party's speed was not something they could match up to. He could fight and sneak attack whenever he wanted and retreat whenever he wanted. They had no way of dealing with him. There's no need to chase after them. The Thunder Ray race will make them pay 10 times, 100 times more in the future. The leader of the Thunder Ray race shouted and ordered the disciples not to chase after them. Wang Xian did not chase after the 7 of them when he saw them retreating. It would be extremely difficult for him to hunt them down. The clouds disappeared and Wang Xian reverted to his human form. He hovered in the air and watched the 4 forces retreat. He looked behind him and flew towards the Thunder Ray tribe leader and the others. Wang Xian, big senior brother. The leader and supreme elder of the Thunder Ray race shouted when they saw Wang Xian flying over. The group of elders also flew over and greeted him as big senior brother. Their eyes were filled with joy, shock, and disbelief. At the same time, they suspected that the big senior brother of the Thunder Ray race was not as simple as he seemed. With such strength, he would be an expert even in the ancestral dragon lineage. Why did he come to the Thunder Ray race? With all their guesses, they looked at Wang Xian. Leader, elders. Wang Xian flew over and smiled at them. If you have anything to say, let's talk in the main hall. Thank you for this battle. If not for you, the Thunder Ray race might not have been able to survive this ordeal. The leader of the Thunder Ray race smiled and patted Wang Xian's shoulder as he spoke. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head. His strength had been exposed, and there was nothing to hide. Moreover, he had returned a huge favor this time. The disciple in black said, Humph, a puny Luyan city dares to attack us? Courting death. A berserk killing intent flashed in the eyes of the Thunder Light tribe leader. Patriarch, shall we attack Luyan City? Wang Xian looked over and raised his eyebrows. Some time ago, we discovered that Luyan City was acting suspiciously, so we sent people to keep an eye on them. However, we didn't think that they would dare follow the Great Lane Academy to attack us. The Thunder Light tribe patriarch said coldly, Let's go. Let's kill our way over and kill everyone in Luyan City. His gaze swept across the surroundings as he spoke in an awe-inspiring manner. All right, Patriarch, I will go with you. The 4 Thunder Ray race supreme elders immediately spoke up, their bodies filled with killing intent. Patriarch, do you still need me to go over? Wang Xian raised an eyebrow and asked. No need. The City Lord and the Legion have yet to return. There are no experts in Luyan City. We can go over alone. The Thunder Light tribe patriarch shook his head. Wang Xian nodded. This wasn't dangerous or difficult. The Thunder Light tribe patriarch and the rest could handle it themselves. Wang Xian, I'll have to trouble you to keep watch over the Thunder Light tribe from now on. The Thunder Light tribe patriarch said to Wang Xian. No problem. Wang Xian nodded. I'll return to the palace first. Elders can inform me if there's anything. All right, Wang Xian, you can go and rest first. The group of supreme elders nodded. Wang Xian made a move and flew towards his own palace. Now that he had gathered all the resources needed to level up, his fighting strength would reach the First Order Universe sovereign realm after absorbing them. With such strength, he could easily kill his way to the Great Lane Academy and annihilate them. After settling all the troubles in the Thunder Light tribe, he could consider traveling to other places. When he returned to the palace, Wang Xian didn't have to hide anything this time. He transformed into his divine dragon form and started devouring the universe's sovereign realm divine fruits. Just as Wang Xian started to level up, the calamity of Luyan City arrived. As one of the dozens of cities in the Thundercloud domain, Luyan City was considered one of the stronger cities with pinnacle universe supremacies guarding it. When the residents of Luyan City learned that their city lord and the Great Lane Academy were going to attack the Thunder Light tribe, the entire city was in an uproar. Those experts and disciples who weren't residents of Luyan City tactfully left the city. This was because once a war broke out, they wouldn't rest until one side was dead, especially when they were going to attack the Thunder Light tribe, which was 10 times stronger than Luyan City. Some people were afraid of being implicated, so they left immediately. However, the real residents of Luyan City didn't leave. This was because they believed in the City Lord and understood that Luyan City, the Great Lane Academy, and the Divine Thunder City were 100% confident in winning if they joined forces. Apart from the reduced human traffic in Luyan City, there wasn't much of an impact. However, before the residents of Luyan City knew about the situation on the battlefield, 5 pinnacle universe supremacies led by the Thunder Light tribe leader arrived. Annihilate everyone in Luyan City. Leave no one alive. The Thunder Light tribe leader bellowed coldly. The 5 of them didn't show any mercy as they vented their killing intent in Luyan City. This was the end of the world for Luyan City. The terrifying attack caused the entire city to collapse rapidly. Only some people in the blessed land of the City Lord residents managed to survive. The rest were all killed. This was the price they had to pay. Anyone who started a war had to pay the price of being annihilated. In less than 5 minutes, the entire city was reduced to ruins. The annihilation of Luyan City immediately caused a huge commotion. Subsequently, news of the war with the Thunder Light tribe, the annihilation of Luyan City, and the annihilation of Clyde City spread like wildfire in the Thundercloud domain and the surrounding regions. When they received the news, their faces were filled with shock. They had never expected that the war would be completely changed because of one person. Chapter 34:10. The Great Lane Academy, Divine Thunder City, Luyan City, and Purple City besieged the Thunder Light tribe and were defeated. The big senior brother of the Thunder Light race appeared out of nowhere and killed the Divine Thunder City Lord and the Great Thunder Institute's old ancestor by himself. He fought against 7 peak supremacies of the universe. He's simply invincible. Given the strength of the Thunder race, they should have been no match for the Great Lane Academy and the other 3 great factions. However, the sudden appearance of the eldest senior brother of the Thunder race is too strong. Everyone thought that the Thunder Ray race was going to meet with a calamity in this battle. Who would have thought that such a supreme expert would appear? Just how strong is the eldest senior brother of the Thunder Ray race? After the news spread, all the experts in the Thundercloud domain and the nearby regions were dumbfounded when they saw the result. He was especially shocked by the strength of the Lightning race's eldest senior brother. Since when was the eldest senior brother among the disciples so terrifying? Was this really the eldest senior brother, and not the ancestor of the Lightning race that had been hidden for billions of years? Isn't he a little too fucking strong? Just as everyone was shocked by the terrifying power of the Thunder Ray tribe's eldest senior brother, the news that Luyan City had been destroyed by the Thunder Ray tribe quickly spread. Soon after, the news of Clyde City's destruction was confirmed. Some people even said that the person who had destroyed Clyde City was the big senior brother of the Thunder Light tribe. This shocked everyone once again. If Clayching was included, there were already 3 experts who had died at the hands of the Thunder Ray race's eldest senior brother. This terrifying strength made him an invincible existence in the surrounding domain. The Great Lane Academy is going to be in trouble. The Great Lane Academy is still fine. They have a deep foundation and numerous powerhouses. They should be able to withstand the revenge of the Thunder Light tribe. However, the Purple City and the Divine Thunder City will be completely finished. The residents of the Divine Thunder City and the Purple City are in trouble. I don't know when they will suffer fierce retaliation. It seems like the people living in the Divine Thunder City and the Purple City are already fleeing. The 2 cities have succeeded in courting death. As for the Divine Thunder City and the Purple City, many forces experts began to express their condolences. Now that the Thunder Ray race had produced such an expert, what else could they use to fight against them? Next, he would just have to wait for his revenge. However, at this moment, the disciples of the Thunder Light tribe started cheering. They bragged about their eldest senior brother on the universe AI. He boasted that his eldest senior brother was invincible and that he would definitely become a universe dominator level powerhouse in the future. Of course, they weren't bragging. All the disciples of the Thunder Ray race knew how old their eldest senior brother was, how talented he was, and how much potential he had. They were naturally proud of such a powerful and terrifying eldest senior brother. What do we do now? The big senior brother of the Thunder Light race is so powerful. They will definitely seek revenge on our Divine Thunder City. When that time comes, revenge? The Thunder Light race has already begun to take revenge on our Luyan City. Our entire Luyan City has already been destroyed. At the same time, as the Thunder Light tribe powerhouses were bragging about their eldest senior brother, the powerhouses from the Divine Thunder City, Purple City, and Luyan City of the Great Thunder Sound Academy bellowed furiously. Especially Luyan City, the entire city had been destroyed. Their foundation was basically destroyed in a day. The situation in Luyan City could very well serve as an example for Divine Thunder City and Purple City in the future. The first senior brother of the Thunder Light race is too powerful. Once we split up, even your Great Thunderclap Academy won't be able to stop them. The City Lord of Purple City glanced at the Dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the others as he spoke with a gloomy expression. The eldest senior brother of the Thunder Light race could fight against 7 pinnacle supremacies. This was practically the strength of all the pinnacle supremacies of the Great Thunderclap Academy. Coupled with the other 7 supremacies of the Thunder Light race, the Great Thunderclap Academy wouldn't be a match for them. When that time came, the Great Thunderclap Academy would also suffer a tragic revenge. We can't split up now, the dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy said with a similarly gloomy expression. We can't split up? Where can we guard if we don't split up? Can we guard our Divine Thunder City? An expert from the Divine Thunder City questioned with a solemn expression. The City Lord of Purple City also looked over. Their expressions were extremely ugly. They came from 4 factions, so they couldn't split up. This meant that they could only guard one area. What about the other 2 areas? Should they just give up? We have to defeat the Thunder Light Race. We have to eliminate the eldest senior brother of the Thunder Light Race. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy glanced at them and clenched his lightning staff tightly as he spoke. Upon hearing his words, the expressions of the experts from Purple City, Divine Thunder City, and the others changed. Dean, do you have any ideas? They looked at the dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy and asked helplessly. Now, they could only rely on the Great Thunderclap Academy's ideas. Otherwise, they could only flee for their lives. Either we invite a Universe Lord level expert to help us, or we have a Universe Lord level expert among us. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy's eyes shone as he gritted his teeth and spoke. Didn't your Great Thunderclap Academy obtain a Universe Lord level God tree this time? Will there be an expert from the Great Thunderclap Academy who can break through again? The City Lord of Flowing Yin City asked. The chances are slim. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy was expressionless. Now, there's only one way, and that is to invite experts from other factions over. Inviting a Universe Lord level expert over, let's not talk about the price we have to pay. Others might not even agree. The potential of the eldest senior brother of the Thunder Light Race is too terrifying. An expert from the Divine Thunder City said with a solemn expression, as long as there's a sufficient price, there will definitely be experts who will agree. Since we're already on the same line, let's not hold anything back. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy swept his gaze across them and said with a solemn expression, if it was in the past, they might not be able to invite a Universe Lord level expert with their combined forces and resources. However, the Great Thunderclap Academy had a Universe Lord level God tree. This God tree could bear fruits of the Universe Lord level. One could imagine its value. It was also because of this God tree that the Great Thunderclap Academy and the others had ambushed the Grand Elder of the Thunder Light Race. Because that God tree was enough for a faction of their level to start a war. If they used this God tree and large amounts of treasures, they had at least a 70% chance of getting help. Alright, but we have to completely suppress the Thunder Light Race. Otherwise, it will be a disaster for us in the future. The City Lord of Purple City gritted his teeth and replied, that's natural. Now, either they die or we die. We have to cut off our means of retreat. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy had a cold expression as dense killing intent appeared on his face. However, I believe that it will be the Thunder Light Race that dies, he said in a heavy tone as his gaze swept across the experts from the 3 cities. Get ready. They had already been forced into a corner. Even if they had to pay a huge price, they had to suppress the Thunder Light Race. Chapter 34:11. Oh? A First Order Sovereign Realm God Tree, 41st Order Sovereign Realm God Fruits, 1 Sciention Spiritual Treasure, and a large number of Venerable Realm Treasures. Tiske. These resources are truly irresistible. The moment we make a move, we will become enemies with the Lightning Race. The Lightning Race isn't much, but the senior brother of the Lightning Race cannot be underestimated. Even if he has hidden his age, his strength and potential will be a huge threat. Indeed, if it's just the Lightning Race, we don't have to worry about them. We can just attack them directly. At the same time, 2 figures were sitting in an underground castle, weighing their gains and losses. We need some more treasures. If they are willing to take out more, we can take the risk. One of the figures hesitated for a few minutes before making a decision. The other figure nodded. Damn it, the Sand Race sent us a message. They said that we are offering too little and hope that we can add more things. Very quickly, the experts in the Great Lightning Institute, Divine Thunder City, and the others received the news. Don't worry, the Sand Race is just one of the forces we are looking for. If they aren't willing, the other forces might not reject us. The Great Lightning Institute's dean said with a gloomy expression. The rest of the group nodded and sat there quietly, waiting. Since they had reached such a stage with the lightning race, they had no qualms about inviting experts to help them. The price they were willing to pay was high enough. Even a first-order sovereign realm expert would be tempted by it. They didn't believe that no one would agree. Buzz. Time passed bit by bit, and many forces directly rejected them. There was only one reason: the senior brother of the lightning race. They were afraid that if they failed to eliminate him, he would take revenge in the future. Boom. However, on the third day, a black cloud suddenly appeared above the Great Lane Academy. The terrifying pressure caused the expressions of all the disciples in the Great Lightning Institute to change. Which lord has come to our Great Lightning Institute? The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the others flew out immediately with a solemn look in their eyes. I'll accept your request. A voice came from within the black cloud, but no one could see the figure clearly. May I ask who you are? The dean hesitated for a moment before asking. You don't need to know. Don't forget your reward for helping you suppress the lightning race. The voice in the black cloud continued. Yes, sir. We wouldn't dare to neglect your treasures. The headmaster of the Great Lane Academy and the others were overjoyed and said excitedly, All right, when do we start? The voice in the black cloud asked directly. Sir, we need to make some preparations. We'll be taking action in 1 or 2 days. Would you like to come to our Great Lane Academy to rest first? The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy asked respectfully. No need. The voice in the black cloud replied. Then please sign a cursed contract with the Great Thunderclap Academy. The headmaster of the Great Lane Academy's eyes flickered as he took out a black contract. This kind of cursed contract was somewhat similar to a cursed being, but it was even more mystical. Once the contract was signed, it had to be fulfilled. Otherwise, it would be attacked by the curse. No one dared to violate the contract, not even universe ruler-level powerhouses. No problem. The expert in the black cloud didn't have any objections to this and directly agreed. The contract was completed very quickly. The principal of the Great Lane Academy and the others cupped their hands. I'll be counting on you 2 days from now. They spoke with excitement and respect. It's nothing. The figure in the black cloud said indifferently. The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the others exchanged glances before returning to the Great Hall. I wonder which faction's expert found out about us. The City Lord of Purple City said with a smile. I don't know. The other party purposely hid his identity to not let others know of his power. Kiki, this doesn't affect us much. The cursed contract has already been signed. Everything will go according to the contract. The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy said with a smile. They weren't too curious or suspicious towards a first-order ruler expert that didn't want to show his face. If the other party didn't show his face, the lightning race wouldn't know who the other party was. This was also to prevent the lightning race from taking revenge. After all, if a pinnacle supremacy targeted a power, that power wouldn't feel good. If the other party killed your disciple, the experts of your race couldn't possibly guard the area, right? Yes, Headmaster, the news of us using a large sum of money to request reinforcements has been spread. At this time, an expert from the Great Thunderclap Academy looked at the AI and said, Ignore it. The 3 of you should prepare yourselves. We will return in 2 days. This time, we will suppress the lightning race. The treasures to suppress them have already been prepared. Don't worry, we are already fully prepared. The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy ignored him and ordered. The experts from Purple City and Luyin City immediately responded. Patriarch, not long ago, a terrifying black cloud appeared above the Great Thunderclap Academy. The exact situation is unknown. On the AI, someone spread news that the Great Thunderclap Academy and the other powers had used a large sum of money to invite their race's experts to help. They were rejected. At this time, the lightning race had already received some news about the Great Thunderclap Academy and the AI. The lightning race had spies in the Great Thunderclap Academy and the AI, so they were able to obtain some basic information. The news on the universe AI was clearly purposely spread by some people. As for why it was spread, no one knew. They're cornered. The patriarch of the lightning race had a solemn expression on his face. In the past, the lightning race and the Great Thunderclap Academy had always been at each other's throats. However, neither side had been able to eliminate the other. The main reason was that neither side had Universe Lord-level combat power. Furthermore, given their foundations, they were unable to invite Universe Lord-level helpers. However, things were different now. They had 4 powers and many treasures. Coupled with the God Tree, the other party might really be able to invite Universe Lord-level helpers. Immediately announced that this is a war between the Lightning Race and the Great Thunderclap Academy. If there are any powers, even if we have to fight to the death, we will take a bite. The Lightning Race Patriarch said with a solemn expression. They could only use this method to warn the powers and experts that wanted to interfere. Yes, Patriarch. The other experts of the Lightning Race also knew the severity of the situation and nodded their heads heavily. After this calamity, I'll definitely kill those bastards from Divine Thunder City, Purple City, and Luyen City. One of the Grand Elders roared furiously. Chapter 34:12. The Great Lightning Academy is cutting off all means of retreat. They're paying a huge sum of money to invite a Universe Lord for help. Will anyone be willing to help? It's hard to say. If the 4 factions can bring out precious treasures, they might be able to invite them. The Lightning Race has already announced that they will attack anyone who dares to help the Great Lightning Academy. TSK, the Great Lightning Academy, Purple City, Luyen City, and Divine Lightning City are at their wits' end. The moment they can't resist the Lightning Race, they will be met with terrifying revenge. Unless the 4 factions can form a single faction, is that possible? On the AI, the factions surrounding the Lightning Cloud domain were discussing fervently. The Lightning Race and the Great Lightning Academy were both major factions. In addition to the Divine Lightning City, their battle was the focus of everyone's attention. The Great Lightning Academy had suffered a huge defeat in the first battle. The Lightning Race's first senior brother had appeared. He was a pinnacle universe supremacy with a powerful battle pet. This kind of strength shocked everyone. Now that the Great Lightning Academy wanted to defeat the Lightning Race, they needed an expert to suppress the first senior brother. To be on the safe side, they needed a Universe Lord with the combat power of a First-Order Universe Lord. Just as everyone was discussing, 2 days later, they saw the Great Lightning Academy, Divine Lightning City, Purple City, and Luyen City move again. At the entrance of the Great Lightning Academy, the armies of the 4 factions were rapidly flying towards the Lightning Race. The Great Lane Academy and the other 3 great forces imposing manner immediately attracted the attention of the experts from the other forces. This caused them to be extremely shocked. What's going on? The Great Lightning Academy and the other 3 factions are sending their armies again. Is this because they have full confidence? Could it be that they invited a Universe Ruler-level powerhouse for this expedition? They managed to invite one in such a short period of time? What kind of price did they pay? This is really surprising. The Great Lightning Academy is sending out their armies again so quickly. They must have a trump card. Countless people were discussing and paying attention to the situation of this battle. The armies of the 4 factions were moving. A black cloud hovered in the sky. The Lightning Race was the first to receive this news. Their faces were unusually solemn. Patriarch, what do we do now? For them to attack so quickly, they definitely have a powerful trump card. It's very likely that they are Universe Ruler-level powerhouses. The Grand Elders of the Thunder Ray tribe had ugly expressions on their faces as they gathered together to discuss. Have all the clansmen and disciples retreat to our blessed paradises. The defenses of the blessed paradises should be able to hold on. The leader of the Thunder Light tribe had a grave expression on his face. If they were to use their entire race's strength and their grotto heavens and blessed lands, they would be able to withstand the attack of a First-Order sovereign. However, if the Great Thunder Academy really invited a Universe Ruler-level powerhouse, the Thunder Light race would be in deep trouble. That's right. Let's retreat to the Blessed Land first and see what the Lightning Race's trump card is. If they have really invited a Universe Ruler-level expert, there will be no need for us to resist. We can just seclude ourselves in the Blessed Land and wait for an opportunity. The Thunder Light Race's first Supreme Elder said. Such an outcome would definitely have been disastrous for the lightning race in the past. It could even have been devastating, but it was different now. They had Wang Xian. A purebred divine dragon had the battle strength of a pinnacle universe supremacy. They were confident and had a premonition that Wang Xian would be able to break through to the universe ruler level soon. At the very most, their entire race would seclude themselves for hundreds of millions of years. When Wang Xian broke through, it would be their time to retaliate. Therefore, they could accept retreating to the Blessed Enclave. First Elder, please inform Wang Xian to come over. We will ask him if he wants to enter the blessed land with us or leave and wait for him to break through to save us. The leader of the Thunder Light tribe said, "All right." The first elder nodded his head and immediately flew towards Wang Xian's residence. Regardless of whether Wang Xian entered the blessed land with them or cultivated elsewhere, the Thunder Light tribe wouldn't have any objections. After all, they were relying on Wang Xian now. Wang Xian, who was absorbing resources in the palace and preparing to advance, was taken aback when he heard the news from the first elder. He followed the first elder into the main hall and raised his eyebrows when he heard the news from the leader of the Thunder Light tribe. "Leader, how long more before they arrive?" he asked. "About 4 days. They have set up a teleportation array along the way." The leader of the Thunder Light tribe replied, "Leader, let's go outside. I'll wait for an opportunity to strike." Wang Xian didn't say much to them. "Sure, but you have to be careful. We suspect that the Great Lane Academy has invited experts of the Universe Lord level. When the time comes, we will leave the First Elder and 2 Supreme Elders to hide outside. You can contact them when the time comes," the leader of the Thunder Light tribe said. Wang Xian nodded his head. The resources in his hands could be converted into dragon energy in less than 10 days. When that time came, the problem of the Thunder Light tribe should be solved easily. Of course, if the other party could invite experts of the First Order Universe Lord level or above, Wang Xian wouldn't be able to do anything. However, the possibility of that happening was slim. "All right, rest assured, Patriarch. This crisis will be over very soon." Wang Xian chuckled. "Haha, we believe you. With you around, we will feel much more at ease." The leader of the Thunder Light tribe and the rest chuckled. "I'll return to the palace first. Patriarch, you guys can handle your own matters. Don't worry about me. Even a First Order Sovereign Realm expert can't do anything to me." Wang Xian spoke a few more words to them before leaving. As for the Thunder Light tribe, he was not anxious. The lightning race had been established for a long time, and they had a solid foundation. Even a First Order Sovereign Realm expert could forget about destroying them. As for the rest, he would just have to wait until he broke through. Wang Xian did not feel nervous at all. He returned to the palace and continued to level up. While he was improving rapidly, the armies of the Great Lane Academy and the other 3 factions had already arrived in front of the Thunder Light tribe. "Haha, you don't dare to come out anymore? Haha." The dean of the Great Thunderclap Institution and the rest laughed out loud when they saw that the Thunder Light tribe did not dare to accept the challenge. "Kill your way in. Those bastards from the Thunder Light race are already afraid." The city lord of the Purple City bellowed, and the army charged straight into the interior of the Thunder Light tribe. After entering, they still did not encounter any resistance. The Great Lane Academy was also very unbridled. Because they had experts, he had confidence. Chapter 34:13. There's no resistance at all. It seems like the lightning race has guessed that we have an expert on our side. They aren't stupid. They should have guessed it. However, this is good too. As long as we suppress them in the blessed lands, it will be enough. Humph, I was hoping that the lightning race would attack us. Within the interior of the lightning race, the experts from the 4 factions entered the inner area. They scanned their surroundings. The interior of the lightning race was filled with empty buildings. There wasn't a single person in sight. This made the experts from the Great Lightning Academy feel slightly displeased. If the Thunder Light race were to ambush them now, this was what they wanted to see the most. After all, the Lord above would only act if they acted. Let's continue. Right now, everyone from the lightning race should be holed up in their main hall. There are 3 blessed paradises there. The Great Lightning Academy's dean barked as they continued forward. When the Great Lightning Academy entered the interior of the Lightning Race, the various factions outside, as well as the Patriarch of the Lightning Race in the main hall, received the news. All the experts and disciples of the Lightning Race were gathered in front of the main hall. They stared coldly at the scene in front of them. Patriarch, the only thing we need to confirm is whether there are experts hiding in the black clouds above the Great Lightning Academy. The Grand Elder of the Lightning Race stared at the black clouds on the screen. According to the Lightning Race's detection methods, the four factions were within their line of sight the moment they entered. What was different from before was that there was a black cloud in the sky above the four forces. This black cloud was also what the Thunderlight tribe was worried about. They had to find out if there were any First Order Universe sovereigns within the black cloud. However, even if they wanted to find out, they would wait until the other party arrived. Otherwise, what if there were First Order Universe sovereigns within the black cloud? That would definitely be a one-way trip. Once the other party arrives, attack immediately. The Lightning Race Patriarch barked coldly. The Lightning Race's army had yet to enter the Blessed Lands. They wanted to conduct their final test. Before confirming that the other party had a universe sovereign, they wouldn't give up. Time passed slowly as the four factions rushed towards the Lightning Race's main hall. The opponent is about to appear within our attack range. Once he appears, attack with all your might. Let's attack the black cloud in the sky and directly burst out with our strongest attack. As the four factions got closer and closer, the Thunderlight tribe leader instructed a group of disciples and a few Grand Elders. Yes, the group of disciples immediately responded, and several Supreme Elders also nodded their heads heavily. Ha ha ha, Thunder Ray tribe. You are really a bunch of trash. You actually dare to hide here and not come out. Before the voices of the four major powers could be heard, the principal of the Great Lane Academy's voice was heard. Ha ha, desperate old donkeys. If there were only the four great factions, our Thunderlight tribe would be able to annihilate all of you one by one. The Thunderlight tribe Patriarch stared ahead with a murderous look on his face. Kill us? Then let's see who will eliminate who. The headmaster of the Great Thunderclap Academy roared furiously. Attack! At this moment, the Thunderlight tribe's Patriarch saw that the other party had already appeared within their attack range. Boom, boom, boom. All the members of the Thunderlight tribe didn't hesitate as countless energy surged forward in torrents. The attacks of the Thunderlight tribe's Patriarch and the rest locked onto the black cloud. Kill! The principal of the Great Thunderclap Academy roared with a murderous look. The disciples of the four factions immediately launched their attacks. Oomph! A cold snort came from within the black cloud as a terrifying wave of energy swept forward. This black energy was like a black wave that easily wiped out the attacks of the Thunderlight tribe's Patriarch and the rest. Furthermore, it continued on its way towards them at a terrifying speed. This is bad. There really is a universe ruler level expert. Retreat. All disciples retreat into the Blessed Land. The Thunderlight tribe's Patriarch roared with an ugly expression on his face. Retreat. The rest of the disciples had already made their preparations as they immediately retreated. Boom. However, the speed of the black wave was too terrifying. Some of the weaker disciples didn't manage to dodge in time. Blood-curdling screams filled the air. This time, more than 100,000 Thunderlight tribe disciples died. This was under the condition that they were fully prepared. A First Order Universe ruler wasn't a match for them. Damn it! The faces of the Thunderlight tribe's Patriarch and the rest sank when they saw this scene. Against such an expert, they could only retreat helplessly. Buzz. Just as they retreated into the Blessed Lands, the defensive array of the Blessed Lands was activated, following which, the Blessed Lands attack began to brew. This was the final trump card of the Thunderlight tribe in the Lightning Cloud domain. Its powerful defense was something that even a First Order Universe ruler wouldn't be able to break through. Such a powerful attack could kill pinnacle experts in the universe. Hiding so quickly? Thunderlight tribe, you guys are really a bunch of trash. The city lord of the Purple City snorted coldly. Our Thunderlight tribe will remember today's enmity. Also, that expert hiding in the black cloud. You dare to attack us, but you don't dare to reveal your identity? Who would have thought that a First-Order universe ruler would be such a coward? How ironic. The Thunder Light Tribe's Grand Elder said coldly as he stared at the black cloud with deep disdain. That's right. What dog-such an expert? He said that our Thunder Light Tribe is a coward. What about you? You are so strong, yet you don't dare to show your face. What a coward. Ha ha ha. One of the elders who had arrived later also scolded. Since they had already become enemies and the Thunder Light Tribe had been forced to such a state, they didn't have much to fear. The group of experts from the Thunder Light Tribe scolded. However, there was no movement from within the black cloud. Those who could cultivate to this level were all old freaks with billions of years of living memory. Their skin was extremely thick. They naturally wouldn't take this bit of insult to heart. Of course, only he knew whether he was angry or not. Sir, the defenses of the Thunder Light Tribe's blessed lands shouldn't be too strong. We can try to attack it. The Great Lightning Institute's dean's gaze was ice-cold as he cupped his hands towards the black cloud. If they could break through the Thunder Light Tribe's defenses, they would be able to save on the treasures needed to suppress this place. All right. The voice from within the black cloud sounded without any hesitation. Clearly, he was filled with killing intent towards the Thunder Light Tribe's insults. Chapter 34:14. Attack. All disciples, attack immediately. Destroy their defense. A deafening roar reverberated in front of the main palace of the Thunder Light Tribe, following which a series of terrifying attacks were brewing in the sky. Defend. Inside the defensive formation, all the elite disciples of the Thunder Light Tribe channeled their energy into the array formation and added another powerful layer of defense on top of it. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying collisions were heard. In the sky above, the black cloud moved rapidly. Like a pitch-black wave, it crashed towards the defense of the Thunder Light Tribe at a terrifying speed. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The defense of the Thunder Light Tribe began to vibrate violently and ripples appeared. Fortunately, the defense of the Thunder Light Tribe managed to withstand it. The heavenly abode had been managed by the Thunder Light race for close to 10 billion years, and the foundation of the heavenly abode had been strengthened. It wouldn't be that easy to destroy it. Boom, boom, boom. The black cloud didn't give up. Attacks after attacks landed on the defense of the Thunder Light Tribe. The entire defensive array shook violently. However, that line of defense didn't break. It's fine as long as they can withstand it. At the same time, in the palace where Wang Xian resided, he muttered to himself as he watched the scene in front of the main palace through the array formation in front of him. This array formation was installed by the Thunder Light Tribe to make it easier for him to understand the situation. After seeing that there weren't any major problems, he continued to absorb resources. Soon, he was going to break through. It can't be broken. In front of the main palace of the Thunder Light Tribe, the dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the rest looked grim as they witnessed the terrifying attacks of the Black Cloud. All we can do now is to suppress them completely and take out the treasures that are suppressing them. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy ordered immediately. In the sky, the Black Cloud attacked more than 10 times. Knowing that he couldn't break the defense, he gave up and returned to the back. He floated in the air and exuded a terrifying aura. Trying to break the defense of the Thunderlight Tribe? That's just wishful thinking. When we come out, it will be the day of our revenge. That will be the start of your disaster. The leader of the Thunderlight Tribe bellowed with a murderous look. TSK, don't even think about coming out. You will be suppressed here forever. The city lord of Luyan City bellowed coldly. Suppress. Set up the death zone water. Seal the perimeter. A series of orders rang out. Soon after, streams of deathly pale water were released and surged into the surroundings. One after another, he placed the sealed treasures into the dead zone's water. The water of the dead zone was just like its name. It could create a dead zone. He couldn't sense any attributes in the water, so he could only use his physical strength. The water of the dead domain was exceptionally hard to cut off. Many of the suppressed sects used the water of the dead domain. Naturally, he would need the help of other treasures. Even if the Great Lane Academy didn't know how to set up formations, they could still suppress the Thunder Light Race completely. Even if the outside world wanted to destroy it, it would be very difficult. Of course, there was a limit. A first-order sovereign realm expert could still destroy the barrier if he wanted to. All kinds of suppressive objects were scattered in the surroundings, and the suppressive technique began to be set up. At the same time, on the universe AI, news of the lightning race being suppressed had spread. The Great Lightning Academy and the other three factions have invited First-Order Universe sovereigns as helpers. The lightning light race doesn't even dare to fight. They are being suppressed. The Great Lightning Academy still lost. Even Big Senior Brother is useless against a universe sovereign realm expert. What a pity. In the end, the Great Thunderclap Academy's strength and foundation are stronger. After all, the four great factions have joined forces. The Thunder Light tribe is doomed this time. I wonder if the Big Senior Brother of the Lightning Light race is hiding or being suppressed. What a pity. Ha ha ha, that's great. The Lightning Light race can be arrogant. With the four of us joining forces, we can easily suppress them. So what if he's the Big Senior Brother of the Lightning Light race? There will be no Lightning Light race in the future. On the universe AI, the experts and disciples of the various factions were commenting. The disciples and citizens of the four factions naturally cheered. From now on, there would probably be no more Lightning Light race. As for whether they could escape in the future, the chances were too low. The Lightning Light race had completely quietened down. Time passed day by day, and the suppression was still ongoing. That black cloud didn't leave. According to the contract, he could only leave after the Lightning Light race was completely suppressed. The suppression wasn't something that could be completed in a day or two. It would require at least a month's time. As time passed, Wang Xian's dragon energy was also increasing rapidly. Boom! On this day, within the palace that Wang Xian resided in, a horrifying aura surged towards the surroundings. Ding! Congratulations to the host for leveling up to level 4 Universe Venerable. You have comprehended the Dharma laws. Mighty Heavenly Dragon. The voice of the system sounded. In the center of the palace, Wang Xian's dragon body shone with dazzling 9-colored radiance. Name: Wang Xian Race. Yin Yang Wind Lightning 5 Elements Divine Dragon, one with the dragon, level. Universe Venerable Rank 4, Divine Dragon Transformation 9th Transformation, Origin. 1%, 99% required for next breakthrough, Magic. Dominate the aquatic creatures. Dominate any aquatic creatures lower than your own level. Devour living things. Devour living things to extract the source. Control of the 5 elements cultivation technique. Divine Dragon Transformation Divine Powers. Soul Capture. Spirit Attachment Nomological Divine Abilities. Dragon Eye Lock. 5 Elements Dragon Claw. Yin Yang World Breaker. 8 Luminaries Dragon Scale. Holy Dragon Shadow. 8 Divisions of the Heavenly Dragon. Dragon Tomb. Soaring Cloud Dragon. True Dragon Body Dharma Form. 8 Directional Dragon Pillars. 8 Dragon Clones. Towering Dragon Horns. Mighty Heavenly Dragon Law of Mastery. Metal, Wood, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, Darkness, Wind, Lightning Divine Kingdom. Dragon Palace Possessed Dragon. Palace. Acquired. Dragon Palace Members. 196-4450 Wang Xian could not help but let out a deep roar. The powerful roar shook the heavens and earth. The entire sky changed color. He had broken through. A Universe Venerable Rank 4 could kill a Universe First-Order Sovereign Rank Expert by 7 ranks. Now that he had entered the Universe Lord rank, he had stepped into the ranks of the strongest experts in the universe. Wang Xian let out another excited roar. The surrounding thunderclouds condensed into the form of a divine dragon. I've broken through. Time to settle the trouble with the lightning race. Wang Xian smiled faintly as he transformed into his human form. At the same time, at the main palace of the lightning race, the dean of the Great Thunderclap Institute and all the experts and disciples were setting up a suppression technique. They suddenly sensed an energy that made their hearts palpitate coming from their right. Send someone to investigate. The dark clouds moved slightly as a voice traveled over. Could it be the experts of the lightning race causing trouble? Let's investigate immediately. The 2 old ancestors of the Great Thunderclap Institute frowned as they leaped onto the back of the Thunder Lion. Roar, roar. The Thunder Lion galloped forward to investigate immediately. Chapter 34:15. 2 Thunderous Lions, and 2 pinnacle universe supremacies from the Great Lane Academy. They rode on the thunderous lions and flew towards the right. Continue. The Great Lane Academy's director did not pay too much attention as he continued with the suppression. They had Universe Lord-level experts on their side, so they did not have to worry about anything else. There should be some experts from the Thunder Light race who did not enter the Grotto Heaven and hid in other places. That's right. We did not see the big senior brother from the Thunder Light race, and the 2 supreme elders from the Thunder Light race did not appear either. They should be hiding outside. Humph. Once we suppress this side, they can forget about breaking through. On the Thunderous Lions, the 2 pinnacle universe supremacies from the Great Lane Academy flew towards the right quickly as they surveyed their surroundings. The big senior brother from the Thunder Light race was the biggest problem for them. However, once they suppressed this place, they could send people to guard this place. The big senior brother from the Thunder Light race would be useless. However, they had to be careful of the other party's revenge in the future. As for Purple City, Luyin City, and Divine Thunder City, the 3 major forces would move their cities over here. When that time came, there was nothing to worry about. At the same time, in front of them, Wang Xian was flying towards them rapidly. His eyes flickered as he saw the 2 thunderous lions and the 2 experts from the Great Lane Academy flying over. He smiled. Before he broke through, he was able to kill a pinnacle universe venerable when he was least expecting it. What about now? Crackle. Wang Xian pushed his speed to the maximum. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and charged over at a terrifying speed. What's that? The 2 patriarchs from the Great Lane Academy who were riding on the thunderous lions were shocked when they felt a light in front of them. However, they felt death enveloping them in the next moment. They widened their eyes as they vaguely saw a familiar figure. The sound of something being penetrated was heard. Wang Xian squinted his eyes as his body gradually stopped in the void. Behind him, the thunderous lions stopped and the 2 patriarchs from the Great Lane Academy froze, following which their vitality dissipated and they fell to the ground. Wang Xian chuckled as he waved his arm and kept their corpses. With his current strength, he could easily kill a pinnacle universe venerable. After killing the 4 experts in an instant, Wang Xian continued to fly forward without any hesitation. He hid himself slightly. In less than 5 minutes, he arrived at the front of the main hall. In front of the main hall, the Great Lane Academy and the other 3 great forces were suppressing them. His gaze fell on the Black Cloud. Within the Black Cloud, there was a First-Order Sovereign Realm expert with the combat power of a Universe Sovereign. This was the only existence that could make Jian Yun worry. As long as this guy was killed, all the problems would be solved. Now, the Great Lane Academy and the other 3 factions were nothing to worry about. Dragon Eye. Wang Xianlong's eyes lit up as he looked into the dark clouds. In his line of sight, the dark clouds were slowly penetrated, and a black shadow stood there. The shadow was like a skeleton. It was about 3 meters tall and held a pitch-black staff in its hand. Below him, dozens of heads formed a lotus platform, and he stood there motionlessly. Is this his true appearance? Which race are they from? Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the figure in front of him. He hid his figure and slowly approached. Just as Wang Xian approached, he suddenly saw the back of the figure's head emitting a glow. A pair of blood-red glasses opened, and a face appeared behind the figure's head. The blood-red eyes kept twitching as it sized up the surroundings. Have I been discovered? Wang Xian's eyes narrowed. The other party should have been in a state of vigilance. That was why he could discover him from such a distance. Do it. At this moment, Wang Xian did not hesitate. Facing a First-Order Sovereign Realm expert, Huang Xiaolong did not hesitate as he charged forward. Wang Xian's current speed was terrifying. Even a Pinnacle Supremacy Realm expert could not see him clearly. Swoosh! With a soft explosion, Wang Xian appeared in front of the black cloud. The unbeginning saint wings flapped, and he charged in. Boom! A loud explosion was heard, and the figure in the black cloud appeared in front of Wang Xian. The black cloud condensed into a sharp spike, and it pierced towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian's figure flickered slightly, and he dodged the terrifying attack. His arm turned into a dragon claw, and he tore at the thundercloud. Bzzzt bzzzt bzzzt. A sound of collision was heard, and Wang Xian's dragon claw was slightly numb. Huh. This thundercloud isn't simple. It should be an inborn spiritual treasure. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes. Who are you? Within the black cloud, the 3-meter-tall and skinny figure holding a magic staff asked Wang Xian sternly. Hee, who are you? Wang Xian sneered as he asked the figure in the black cloud. What's happening? What's going on? Is someone fighting with that lord? The sudden terrifying energy from the black cloud made everyone's expression change. They immediately looked over, and their faces were filled with horror. Oh no, a universe lord expert has appeared. What's going on? Could it be an expert invited by the lightning race? The Great Lane Institute and the rest looked over, and their faces darkened as they growled. If you don't want to be my enemy, get lost. Within the black cloud, the figure stared at Wang Xian with blood-red eyes and warned him with murderous intent. Ha ha ha. You want me to get lost? This is the lightning race? You want me to get lost? Since you guys like to stay here, then stay here forever. Upon hearing the words of the figure in the black cloud, Wang Xian burst into laughter. His body flickered, and the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. In an instant, he appeared in front of the black cloud. Wang. The energy of the 5 elements was injected into the 5 elements grindstone, and a terrifying attack was launched towards the black cloud. Without Wang Xian's control, the 5 elements grindstone could slay pinnacle universe lords. With his support, it was even more terrifying. The destructive energy collided with the black cloud, tearing a hole in it. Black cloud wave slash. The figure in the black cloud bellowed. The black cloud in front of him condensed into the shape of a long saber and slashed towards Wang Xian. Swish! Wang Xian's body flickered, and he instantly appeared behind the black cloud. 5 elements reversal. Explode. Wang Xian waved his arm, and the 5 elements grindstone exploded into shadows. The 5 elements began to reverse, and the attributes began to clash. Boom! A violent explosion reverberated in the void above the lightning race. Chapter 34:16. Rumble. A terrifying explosion reverberated and caused a huge tremor. The face of the figure in the black cloud turned slightly ugly, and the entire black cloud flew backward. The current 5 elements grindstone was much stronger than ordinary innate spiritual treasures. Even without the aid of speed, Wang Xian wasn't afraid to clash head-on with others of the same level. What? He's an expert hired by the lightning race? Shit, he's also a first-order universe lord. Why does this voice sound so familiar? It sounds like the voice of the big senior brother of the lightning race. No, that's impossible. He's only a pinnacle universe supremacy. It's impossible for him to break through so quickly. It's extremely difficult for a pinnacle universe supremacy to break through to a first-order universe lord. How could he break through so quickly? The surrounding disciples of the Great Lane Academy were shocked when they heard Wang Xian's voice. That voice sounded familiar. However, they couldn't believe that the big senior brother of the lightning race could break through and possess the strength of a first-order universe lord. That was too exaggerated. Huh, what's happening outside? It seems like an expert is fighting with the dark clouds. Who is it? At the same time, the experts of the lightning race suppressed in the blessed grotto heavens sensed the changes outside. They widened their eyes in shock. Swish, swish, swish. In the sky, Wang Xian relied on his terrifying speed to fly through the void. Streaks of terrifying attacks landed on the dark clouds. With each attack, the fog in the dark clouds lessened a little. Universal Domain Prison. The figure within the dark clouds had a gloomy expression. He roared and raised the staff in his hand. As he raised the staff, dark attributes descended from the sky, forming a terrifying prison that shrouded Wang Xian. 8 directional dragon pillars. Seeing this binding attack, Wang Xian let out a deep roar as well. Dragon pillars were erected and smashed towards the universal domain sky prison. Boom! The terrifying collision sounded again as the universal domain prison and the 8 directional dragon pillars dissipated gradually. Swish! Wang Xian's figure flickered as he appeared above the dark clouds. Divine Dragon Shadow. He roared. Streaks of light condensed into the shadow of a divine dragon and smashed downwards. The roar of the divine dragon resounded as it landed heavily on the thunderclouds. Because the figure in the thundercloud had deliberately concealed himself, he couldn't dodge such an attack at all. Damn it! Within the black cloud, the expert cursed. He initially didn't want to reveal his identity, but now he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. World-devouring devil, he roared, and the skulls around him condensed into a terrifying abyssal mouth that swallowed the divine dragon shadow. Towering dragon horn. Wang Xian's body flickered again. Relying on his terrifying speed, he came directly to the bottom of the dark clouds. A resplendent dragon horn shot up into the sky. The illusion of the divine dragon flickered in the surroundings, and a terrifying dragon might swept across the surroundings. It's the Thunder Ray race's eldest senior brother. He has broken through. It's actually him. At this time, if they still couldn't determine who their opponent was, then they would be too stupid. This attack was filled with the style of the mystical dragon. This familiar yet terrifying pressure caused the experts from the Great Lane Academy and the other three factions to turn pale. Breakthrough? The Thunder Ray race's eldest senior brother was actually a First-Order Universe sovereign? This was simply bad news for them. The Great Lane Academy's director, Old Ancestor, the two experts from Divine Thunder City, and the city lords from Purple City and Luyan City paled instantly. Their bodies trembled as they stared fixedly at the battlefield. This must be a joke, right? The Thunder Ray race's eldest senior brother had broken through? How are they going to continue fighting? Unless the expert within the black cloud killed the Thunder Ray race's eldest senior brother. But was that possible? Arg. Damn it. Great Lane Academy, didn't you say that the other party didn't have a universe sovereign? You're lying. Within the black cloud, the figure had an ugly expression as he surveyed his surroundings cautiously. Streaks of area of effect attacks rained down on him from all directions. The other party was too fast, and he couldn't lock onto him at all. Against his attacks, he could only take them head-on. Under such circumstances, he could only evade. He roared furiously at the experts from the Great Lane Academy. Previously, they hadn't mentioned that the other party had a First-Order Universe sovereign. Otherwise, why would he accept such a mission? We don't know either. Sir, please help us kill this guy. As long as you help us kill him, we're willing to pay any price. The Great Lane Academy's head was drenched in cold sweat as he roared. Now, all of their hopes rested on the expert within the black cloud. If the other party didn't care, they would be finished. I'll kill your entire family. The expert within the black cloud couldn't help but curse when he heard this. How was he going to kill the other party with such uncanny speed? If he continued to tangle with the other party, he would definitely be the one to die. Now, he had to get ready to escape. I won't participate in this anymore. I'll leave immediately. Stop your attacks. He roared at Wang Xian. Hee, you've already been locked onto by me. Do you really think you can escape without paying a price? Wang Xian smirked. If this was in the past, Wang Xian wouldn't have any way to deal with an expert of the same level who was trying to escape. However, things were different now. The complete, unbeginning sacred wings possessed the ability to locate the enemy through the void. He could disrupt the other party's escape to his own cosmic god kingdom. Once he tangled with him, it would be difficult for the other party to escape. However, the expert within the black cloud had an inborn spiritual treasure and had the possibility of escaping. However, it was impossible for him to escape without paying a price. Damn it! Don't push your luck. The figure within the black cloud looked hideous as he roared. You're the one who's courting death. Since you dare to attack the Thunder Light Race, you have to pay the price. Wang Xian locked onto him. Swoosh. He moved his body and attacked the black cloud again at a terrifying speed. Damn it! The figure within the black cloud was extremely gloomy. He had also witnessed Wang Xian's speed. Under such an uncanny speed and constant attacks, the chances of him returning to his cosmic god kingdom were slim. If this continued, he would be exhausted to death. Unless he could put up a protective barrier, he would be able to escape in an instant. Moreover, This protective barrier wouldn't affect him even if he was attacked. This was a little difficult for him, especially since the big senior brother of the Thunderlight race was also wielding a powerful weapon. Chapter 34:17. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Sounds of collisions rang out in the sky above the main palace of the Thunderlight tribe. A terrifying battle had erupted. The director of the Great Thunderclap Academy and the other experts from the 4 major forces watched the battle in horror. All disciples gathered together. Everyone, get ready. The director of the Great Thunderclap Academy had a terrible look on his face as he gave the order fearfully. They had given up on suppressing the Thunderlight tribe and were watching the battle in front of them with mixed expressions. They were filled with fear now. The battle in front of them concerned their fates. In fact, they understood that the fate of the 4 major forces had come to an end. However, they still harbored some unrealistic thoughts. They hoped that the expert within the black cloud could kill the eldest senior brother of the Thunderlight tribe. After all, the eldest senior brother of the Thunderlight tribe had just broken through. Wang Xian. He broke through? He is fighting with the expert within the black cloud. SSS, he really broke through. His strength has really broken through to the level of a universe lord. Ha ha ha, that's great, that's great. The eldest senior brother of the Thunderlight tribe has broken through. Who would have thought that we would win? Great Thunderclap Academy, Purple City, Luyan City, your doomsday is here. At this moment, the leader of the Thunderlight tribe and the other experts, who were suppressed in the blessed grotto heavens, were extremely excited when they saw this scene. They were already prepared to be suppressed. However, Wang Xian had actually broken through. This left them in a daze. Wang Xian had broken through. The Thunderlight tribe also had a universe lord. The crisis this time could also be resolved quickly. What? Our eldest senior brother broke through? Eldest senior brother broke through. This. Ha ha ha, that's great. Our eldest senior brother is invincible. The disciples at the back heard the exclamations of their leaders. Their eyes widened, and they were extremely excited. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Outside, Wang Xian relied on his incredible speed to constantly attack the black cloud. The energy of the black cloud was decreasing. Gradually, the figure within the black cloud appeared. He was 3 meters tall and extremely skinny. He held a black scepter in his hand and had 2 faces. His blood-red eyes were filled with bloodthirst and violence. He waved the scepter in his hand and constantly defended against Wang Xian's attacks. His expression was abnormally ugly. Eldest senior brother of the Thunder Ray race, you can't kill me. Do you really want to be my enemy? The figure in the black cloud let out a cold voice and roared in an eerie voice. You're the one who wants to become enemies with the Thunderlight race. You're the one who wants to become enemies with us, and yet you say that I'm your enemy. You scoundrel, I'll let you off. Don't even think about leaving this place without paying the price. Wang Xian stared coldly at the figure within the dark clouds with disdain. To Wang Xian, the strength of the figure in the dark clouds was not very strong. He was mainly good at long-range attacks. If not for the inborn spiritual treasure, Dark Cloud, Wang Xian could have killed him quickly. Even so, Wang Xian would have to pay a price if he wanted to escape. You deserve to die. Your lightning race deserves to die too. The old man in the black cloud bellowed furiously. Black aura surged from his body as he charged towards Wang Xian. The black aura enveloped a radius of several 100 million kilometers. It was a completely area-wide attack. Wang Xian moved his body and retreated out of the range of the attacks with ease. Rays of single-target attacks rushed in. Wang, the figure in the dark clouds, began to turn illusory. He wanted to escape to his own holy kingdom instantly. However, Wang Xian would not give him the chance. He charged over at a terrifying speed and waves of energy rushed towards his body. He could not move when he was escaping to his own holy kingdom. Therefore, the surrounding attacks were not very strong at this moment. Wang Xian relied on his speed and strength to disrupt his escape once again. Great mighty heavenly dragon. At this moment, Wang Xian released his strongest law of Dharma attack. Didn't you want to escape? When you escape, you'll be the least prepared. Great mighty heavenly dragon. A horrifying divine dragon appeared in front of Wang Xian instantly. The divine dragon looked like Wang Xian's dragon body and also had a pair of dragon wings. However, the size of the great mighty heavenly dragon was tens of millions of kilometers long. Shit. The figure in the dark clouds trembled violently after being interrupted. He immediately waved his magic staff, and the surrounding skulls flew up and collided with the great mighty heavenly dragon. Rumble. The figure in the dark clouds flew backward after the collision and spat out a huge mouthful of blood. I'm no match for him. I can't drag this on any longer. The figure in the dark clouds turned pale. When he saw the surrounding skulls shattering, his heart sank. Swoosh. At this moment, he sensed a figure appearing behind him. He broke out in cold sweat. Dark clouds, Cloud Lotus. He immediately roared. The surrounding dark clouds condensed into a flower petal to protect his body. Run. Big senior brother from the Thunder Light Race, just you wait. I'll make you pay a terrible price. Both of his faces opened their mouths at the same time and let out a creepy voice. He stared at Wang Xian with bloodthirsty eyes. His body started to turn illusory once again. Hee. Wang Xian looked at him and revealed a cold smile. Just you wait. Don't let me find out which race you are from. As he spoke, his arms turned into dragon claws and grabbed at the lotus flowers. Bam! An intense resistance came. Wang Xian did not break through the defense of the lotus flowers. The figure inside stared at him with hatred and disappeared. However, the price was that the dark clouds were left behind. The dark clouds had helped him hold on for some time. Wang Xian chuckled as he looked to the side. Gulp. He escaped. That lord escaped. No, he's escaping for his life. At this moment, all the experts and disciples from the Great Thunderclap Academy and the other four forces were dumbfounded. Run, run, run. The president of the Great Thunderclap Academy roared in despair. Their figures started to turn illusory. Even a universe dominator had escaped. Wouldn't they be waiting for death if they didn't escape? At this moment, they had already made up their minds. When they returned, they would immediately lead all their clansmen into the Blessed Lands. Just like the Thunder Light Race, they would hide in the Blessed Lands. Defeated. They were completely defeated. They were defeated by the big senior brother from the Thunder Light Race and a disciple from the Thunder Light Race. To them, it was as though the heavens were intentionally trying to kill them. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Their figures started to turn illusory and disappeared. As they were far away, Wang Xian couldn't do anything about it. However, the four forces were no longer a threat to Wang Xian. From now on, he could kill at will. Compared to killing the four forces, it was more worthwhile to make the figure in the dark clouds pay the price. A darkness attribute innate spiritual treasure. Chapter 34:18. What's going on? Why did Purple City and Luyan City sound the alarm? I'm in Purple City and I'm panicking. According to some of the brothers in Purple City, the Lightning Race's senior brother has broken through to the First Order Universe Sovereign Realm. The experts invited by the four superpowers were defeated by the Lightning Race's senior brother. The four superpowers are finished. I'm in Divine Thunder City and I'm panicking too. I saw the experts of Divine Thunder City escaping with their disciples. They didn't even want the city anymore. How could this be? The Lightning Race's senior brother suddenly broke through. He changed the entire battle single-handedly. The four superpowers have been suppressing the Lightning Race for more than 10 days. They were almost completely suppressed. In the end, the Lightning Race's senior brother broke through. This senior brother is really terrifying. The Lightning Race has started their counterattack. The situation at the Great Lightning Institute, Purple City, Divine Thunder City, and Luyan City couldn't be concealed. When the experts from Divine Thunder City fled and the experts from Purple City and Luyan City used the teleportation array to head to the Great Lightning Institute, it caused a huge commotion. Everyone thought that the battle was over. However, no one had expected the Lightning Race's senior brother to suddenly break through. Furthermore, he had defeated the First Order Sovereign Realm experts invited by the four forces. This sudden change caused everyone to be incomparably shocked. With such a change, they also knew that the battle situation had been completely reversed. Next, It was time for the Lightning Race's counterattack and the Divine Thunder City to escape. Furthermore, as everyone expected, the Lightning Race had already started their attack. Dean. Before long, the experts from Purple City and Luyin City arrived at the Great Lightning Institute's teleportation array. The experts from Purple City and Luyin City shouted with ugly expressions as they arrived at the main hall of the Great Lightning Institute. Let your disciples enter the blessed enclave first. First Elder, go and make the arrangements. The dean of the Great Lightning Institute instructed his subordinates with a solemn expression. Yes, Dean. The first elder nodded. Dean, what should we do next? The city lord of Purple City couldn't help but ask. Our blessed enclave is much stronger than the lightning races. It's impossible for the lightning race to break through. However, they will definitely suppress us. The dean of the Great Lightning Institute said with a solemn expression. Now, it was their turn to be attacked. However, the Great Lane Academy was also confident in the defense of their blessed enclave. Even a first-order sovereign realm expert wouldn't be able to break through it. Only second-order sovereigns could do so. But they had to think about the future. Do we need experts to provide support outside? Investigate the situation? Or he could have a group of disciples hide and wait for an opportunity to strike. Dean, the spirit tablets of the two patriarchs and Thunder Lion have already cracked. They should have been killed by the Thunder Light Race's big senior brother. There are only the four of us left with peak universe supremacy battle power. A Lightning Race ancestor said with an extremely ugly expression. Since the start of the war, the number of pinnacle supremacies that had died at the hands of the Lightning Race's big senior brother had already reached 5. That was more than half of the experts in the Great Lane Academy. Now, including Purple City and Luyin City, they only had 6 pinnacle universe supremacies. Even without the Thunder Light Tribe's eldest senior brother, they would not be a match for the Thunder Light Tribe. Patriarch, why don't I lead some seeds and elites to hide in the outside world and seek to break through, seeking to raise their combat power to the universe ruler level one day? An old ancestor said with a changing expression. All right. The Great Lane Academy's dean clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. Third ancestor, fifth ancestor, the two of you will lead a group of disciples and experts with potential to hide in the outside world and seek to break through. We will seek to break through in the blessed grotto heavens. He looked at the two old ancestors and said. The two old ancestors nodded their heads solemnly, their eyes filled with a violent killing intent. Even if we can't break through, we will not let the Thunder Light Tribe have peace. Immediately lead the disciples and leave. According to the news, they will arrive in at most 5 hours. The Great Lane Academy's dean leaned on his throne and said tiredly. When the first battle had started, they had thought that they would definitely win. However, the sudden appearance of the Thunder Light Tribe's big senior brother had caused them to lose completely. They still had 100% confidence in the second battle. In fact, they had even enjoyed victory for more than 10 days. However, they had never expected the Thunder Light Tribe's big senior brother to break through again. Everything is because of the Thunder Light Tribe's big senior brother. He mumbled to himself, his eyes filled with hatred. However, he felt even more powerless. The Thunder Light Tribe had produced an expert, although he wasn't their disciple. In the Great Lane Academy, all the disciples and citizens started moving. They moved all the treasures and items into the blessed grotto heavens. This made the blessed grotto heavens of the Great Lane Academy slightly crowded. The Great Lane Academy is right ahead. At the same time, Wang Xian and the Thunder Light Tribe had arrived in front of the Great Lane Academy through teleportation and flight. All the disciples were aggressive and had a strong will to fight. Seeing that the Great Lane Academy had already appeared in their sights, they approached it quickly. The Thunder Light Tribe has been waiting for this day, for the army of the Thunder Light Tribe to step into the territory of the Great Lane Academy. Today, we have finally done it. Ha ha ha. The chief of the Thunder Light Tribe and the rest cheered excitedly. Billions of grudges. Today, the Thunder Light Tribe is luckier and has emerged victorious. All disciples, kill your way into the Great Lane Academy. The group of supreme elders, and experts roared and took the lead to rush forward. Wang Xian sat at the front and scanned his surroundings with a smile. Under his dragon eyes, the Great Lane Academy seemed exceptionally desolate. Just like the Thunderlight tribe not long ago, all the experts and disciples of the Great Lane Academy had hidden in the blessed grotto heavens. They knew that they weren't a match for the Thunderlight tribe. Ha ha ha, Great Lane Academy, to think that you guys would have such a day. All the disciples roared excitedly as they flew towards the Great Lane Academy and the Purple Divinity Academy. That was the core of the Great Lane Academy, the blessed grotto heavens. When they arrived at the front, they let out excited roars. Within the Purple Divinity Academy, a massive purple energy shrouded the surroundings. In front of the Purple Divinity Academy, the president of the Great Lane Academy, the city lords of the Purple City, and the city lords of the Luyan City stood at the front and looked at the army of the Thunderlight tribe from afar with bitter expressions. At this moment, their emotions were even worse than what the Thunderlight tribe had experienced not long ago. Behind them, the disciples of the Great Lane Academy, Purple City, and Luyan City were all pale and filled with hatred. Chapter 34:19. Old Monk, the grudge between the Thunderlight tribe and the Great Lane Academy, which is worth close to 10 billion, is finally settled. The leader of the Thunderlight tribe looked coldly at the Great Lane Academy and the rest of the people in the paradise. Haha, settled? As long as the Great Lane Academy isn't destroyed, the grudge between us will never be settled. I admit that the Thunderlight tribe is lucky to have obtained a powerful expert. However, it won't be long before the Great Lane Academy steps into the chaotic continent again. When that time comes, the Thunderlight tribe will pay the price in blood. The leader of the Great Lane Academy stood in the paradise with a murderous look on his face as he bellowed. His eyes turned to Wang Xian, and the hatred in his eyes intensified. And this big senior brother of the Thunderlight tribe, the disciples of the Great Lane Academy will never forget today's grudge. The day when we stand up for you will be the day you pay the price. When that time comes, the Great Lane Academy will fight to the death with you and your bloodline. The leader of the Great Lane Academy swears on my blood and bloodline that you will pay the price. If I can't do it, I'll die a horrible death. The leader of the Great Lane Academy stared at Wang Xian and swore coldly. Kill, kill, kill. One day, the blood of the Thunderlight tribe will flow like a river. Zicheng, the city lord of Luyan City, and the other experts bellowed with murderous intent, blood will flow like a river. Blood will flow like a river. All the experts of the three major forces bellowed furiously from behind. All of them had hideous looks on their faces. At this point in time, they looked exceptionally crazy. This was because they knew that they would have to live here for a very long time and be suppressed in this small space for a very, very long time. This grudge was as deep as a sea of blood. Ha ha ha, old monk, all you can do now is shout verbally. It's all right, continue shouting. If you don't, you won't have another chance in the future. That's because all of you will disappear in the long river of the universe forever. The leader of the Thunderlight tribe laughed heartily and said sarcastically, Next, we will suppress all of you, so that you will never see the light of day again. The group of experts from the Thunderlight race laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, you better not let us see the light of day again. Otherwise, it will be the time of your calamity. The headmaster of the Great Lane Academy roared in a frenzy. Whoosh! Humph! Wang Xian snorted softly. His figure disappeared instantly and reappeared in front of the purple thunderbolt. His arms turned into dragon claws and slammed heavily on it. Boom! An incomparably loud sound rang out, but the purple energy did not move at all. This defensive power was much stronger than that of the lightning race's paradise. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. He took out the 5 elements grindstone, injected energy into it, and smashed it. Boom, boom, boom. Loud noises kept ringing out, but this powerful defense didn't budge at all. It's impossible to break the defense of our Great Lane Academy. Do you really think you're invincible? An old ancestor of the Great Lane Academy looked over with a murderous look on his face. Wang Xian, the defense of the Grotto Heaven and blessed land of the Great Tempest Academy is very strong. We don't have to kill them, just suppress them directly. The leader of the lightning race and the rest flew over and said to Wang Xian, "Hee, I don't like them." Wang Xian said plainly, "Big senior brother, there's nothing we can do even if we're unhappy. It's the same if we suppress them. After that, they won't have any treasures or resources. They'll never be able to make it out if they stay in there. A grotto heaven and blessed land alone won't be able to support their cultivation for so long." The great elder chuckled. They didn't expect to destroy the Great Tempest Academy. Suppressing them was also their extravagant hope. Wang Xian smiled and didn't say anything. He took out the universe AI and contacted Enlai. He hated it the most when people threatened him. Did they think they would be safe by hiding in the defense of the grotto heaven and blessed land? That would be wishful thinking. All disciples of the Great Tempest Academy, remember our enemies in our minds. This will be the motivation for our cultivation. The president of the Great Tempest Academy said solemnly. Yes. The eyes of the disciples were bloodshot as they stared at every member of the lightning race. Wang Xian swept his gaze across them. With a swift move, he flew to a place where they couldn't see. The leader of the lightning race looked curiously at the departing Wang Xian, after which he swept his gaze across the surrounding disciples and experts. Start suppressing those reckless fools from the Great Tempest Academy. Yes, Chief. The group of experts and disciples of the lightning race answered immediately. Wang. Greetings, Dragon King. At this moment, Enlai appeared in front of Wang Xian from the sky. Be careful when you enter the grotto heaven and blessed land. They're all enemies. Also, bring me over. Wang Xian nodded his head and ordered him. Yes, Dragon King. This is a small matter. Enlai looked at the grotto heaven and blessed land. With a smile on his face, he disappeared instantly. However, in just an instant, he appeared in front of Wang Xian again. Wang. A wave of energy shrouded Wang Xian, and he disappeared. In the next moment, he appeared within the grotto heaven and blessed land of the Great Tempest Academy. In front of him, all the experts and disciples from the Great Tempest Academy, Purple City, and Luyan City were staring at the lightning race with hatred. No one sensed that Wang Xian had entered their territory. He chuckled and flapped his unbeginning saint wings slightly. In the next moment, he flew to the front. On his left and right were the director of the Great Tempest Academy, the Laozu, the city lord of Luyan City, and the rest of the experts. You just said that you will fight me to the death and make me, as well as those related to my bloodline, pay the price. Wang Xian spoke. Manlai tilted his head and spoke with a smile. At this moment, the director of the Great Tempest Academy and the rest had yet to react due to Wang Xian's uncanny speed. When he heard this, all the hair on his body stood up, and his eyes were instantly filled with horror. The director of the Great Tempest Academy turned his head stiffly and stared at Wang Xian with trembling eyes. Don't you recognize me? Wang Xian chuckled and patted him on the shoulder in a carefree manner. Cold sweat trickled down the head of the director of the Great Tempest Academy. No. At this moment, the Laozu of the Great Tempest Academy, Purple City, and the city lord of Luyan City naturally saw Wang Xian. They could only see darkness in front of them. They could not help but take a few steps back and spoke with fear and despair. A great horror had descended. Why are you so afraid? Weren't you very arrogant just now? Wang Xian looked at them and said with a smile, Continue to clamor? Chapter 34:20. How did you get in? How did you get into our grotto heaven? SSS, how could this be? How did he get in? No. Big senior brother from the Thunder Ray Academy. How did he get in? Within the grotto heaven of the Great Thunderclap Academy, fear and panic filled everyone's minds. They widened their eyes in disbelief as they stared at the figure standing beside their dean. The big senior brother from the Thunder Ray Academy, the invincible opponent. They had already been forced into the grotto heaven and were prepared to survive here. But now, the big senior brother from the Thunder Ray Academy had suddenly entered. In that case, the only fate awaiting them was death. This made them tremble uncontrollably. Compared to being suppressed in the grotto heaven, they had merely lost some freedom. However, they could still survive and live here. Once they died, they would have nothing left. The arrival of the big senior brother from the Thunder Ray Academy was a declaration of their demise. All of you can die in peace. Wang Xian looked at the four pinnacle supremacies beside him and said emotionlessly. The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy, a Lao Zu of the Great Thunderclap Academy, the city lord of Luyan City, and the city lord of Purple City. The four of them looked extremely pale and were filled with despair and bitterness. Can you tell us how did you get into the grotto heaven of the Great Thunderclap Academy? The dean of the Great Thunderclap Academy asked Wang Xian indignantly. I can't. Wang Xian chuckled and waved his arm. A wave of energy enveloped them completely. Soul assimilation, he murmured softly as a stream of information entered his mind. Information about the Great Thunderclap Academy, Luyan City, and Purple City appeared. In addition, there was information about the two Lao Zu of the Great Thunderclap Academy leading their elite disciples to hide outside. He smiled faintly and waved his arm. A wave of death energy enveloped the four pinnacle supremacies. No, no, no. Kill him. Kill him. He's trying to kill us. The dean and the rest have been killed. What should we do? I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Behind them, when everyone saw their dean and city lord collapsing, they screamed in panic and despair. Some disciples broke down completely. I'll fight you to the death. A level 9 universe venerable expert roared and charged towards Wang Xian. Heh. Wang Xian chuckled. With a wave of his arm, a level 9 universe venerable expert was killed instantly. He smiled disdainfully and glanced at everyone from the three great forces. An invisible pressure pressed down on them until they were somewhat unable to breathe. Fuck. Look at the Great Lane Academy's blessed abode. Our eldest senior brother has entered. Our eldest senior brother actually entered their blessed enclave. When did our eldest senior brother enter? The dean of the Great Lane Academy and the others were slaughtered by eldest senior brother. Eldest senior brother is invincible. Did you just say that you would destroy us after coming out? Now that our eldest senior brother has entered, their doomsday has come. At the same time, the powerhouses of the Thunder Light tribe were already preparing to suppress the three great factions. At this moment, they suddenly saw Wang Xian appearing in the interior of the Grotto Heaven and Blessed Land. All of them widened their eyes in shock. Eldest senior brother actually entered it. The doomsday of the three great powers was coming. The Lightning Light tribe leader and the rest were also filled with disbelief and shock. Eldest senior brother was simply omnipotent. Rumble. Inside the Grotto Heaven of the Great Lane Academy, Wang Xian waved his arm and a destructive force swept towards the powerhouses of the three great forces. The terrifying energy wasn't something they could withstand. Arg! Screams rang out. They screamed helplessly and in despair. Don't kill us! Don't kill us! The civilians and weaker disciples at the back knelt on the ground and cried out loudly. Wang Xian swept a glance at them and didn't make a move. He would leave these weak disciples and civilians to the Lightning Light tribe. He wouldn't participate in killing or anything else. Wang. He moved and came to the front of the defensive array switch of the Grotto Heaven and Blessed Land. He deactivated the defensive array. With the disappearance of the array, Wang Xian's body shook. Chains covered the entire void, trapping everyone within. Under his shroud, no one would be able to escape. Wang Xian, you are simply too strong. Phew. Eldest senior brother is an invincible existence. The Lightning Light tribe leader and the rest flew over excitedly and exclaimed. It was simply a nightmare to have such an enemy. The defense of the Grotto Heaven of the Great Lane Academy was much stronger than the Lightning Light tribe. Yet, Wang Xian had entered it easily. This unimaginable method was frightening. Hee, Chief, I'll leave them to you to deal with. Also, please pass their corpses to me. As for the treasures other than those with wind and lightning attributes, please give them to me. I have use for them. Wang Xian said with a smile. Ha ha ha. All of these were obtained by you. Without you, the Lightning Light tribe would have been suppressed. The chief of the Lightning Light tribe laughed heartily. It's fine. I only need these. I don't need the other lightning attribute treasures. Wang Xian shook his head. He had helped the Lightning Light tribe destroy the three great forces and gave them all these treasures. He had almost repaid the favor. In the future, they would still be friends. However, he didn't have to give them all the treasures that he had obtained. Let's take a look at the treasure vaults of the three great forces first. Great Elder, bring some men and imprison all the disciples of the three great forces. The chief of the Lightning Light tribe ordered, "Yes, chief." The Great Elder and the others immediately responded, and their faces were filled with excitement. This time, they had annihilated the three great forces and obtained their blessed grotto heavens. This would greatly benefit the development of the Lightning Light tribe. In particular, the blessed grotto heavens of the Great Lane Academy were even more impressive than the Lightning Light tribe, not to mention the other treasures. Victory! The Great Elder and the rest couldn't help but shout, "Victory!" The group of experts and disciples roared, "Chief, let's go. I know where their treasure vault is. Let's go in and take a look." Wang Xian looked at the chief of the Lightning Light tribe and the rest as he spoke. Wang Xian, you can take all the treasures in the treasure vault." The chief of the Lightning Light tribe and the rest were a little embarrassed. "I'll take anything that I can use." Wang Xian chuckled. With a wave of his arm, he brought them to the deepest part of the blessed grotto heavens. In the deepest part of the blessed grotto heavens was a mountain that spanned over 10,000 meters. In front of the mountain was a cave entrance. This was the treasure vault of the Great Lane Academy. This was the accumulation of a force over 10 billion years. "Let's go." Wang Xian's eyes were burning. With a wave of his arm, he opened the door of the treasure vault and entered. Chapter 34:21. According to Wang Xian's memories, the treasure vault of the Great Thunderclap Academy was filled with treasures. However, it was a pity that they had to fork out a lot of treasures to invite that universe lord. Even so, the items inside would still drive people crazy. Wang Xian and the rest felt a majestic energy the moment they entered the treasure vault. The Great Thunderclap Academy has a deep foundation. They were born earlier than us, the Thunder Light tribe. The leader of the Thunder Light tribe looked around with glistening eyes. Most of them are lightning-attributed treasures. Wang Xian looked around. The treasure vault was filled with various kinds of lightning-attributed weapons. These weapons were all below acquired spiritual treasures. There were millions of them, and this was considered a small-scale weapon vault. Wang Xian and the rest continued forward. The energy in the depths was even more majestic. Similarly, it was mainly lightning attributed. Acquired spiritual treasures, utmost acquired treasures. When they reached the deepest part, Wang Xian looked to his right with a smile. He walked over and saw a dark yellow earth-attributed flag. He waved his arm and the flag flew over, exuding a powerful aura. Connate spiritual treasure. This was the only connate spiritual treasure in the Great Thunderclap Academy that was not lightning attributed. Earth-attributed treasures could be absorbed by the 5 elements grind. After absorbing it, the 5 elements grind should be able to achieve a breakthrough. He murmured. Previously, the 5 elements grind had absorbed the fire spirit ball of the universe lord level. It had already improved tremendously and was only a step away from the first order universe lord level. If he absorbed this connate spiritual treasure now, the 5 elements grind should be able to achieve a breakthrough. However, it would be difficult for the Tai Chi Dragon Board to achieve a breakthrough. He only had a darkness-attributed connate spiritual treasure that could raise the Tai Chi Dragon Board to the pinnacle of the universe lord level. To achieve another breakthrough, he would need a light and dark attribute connate spiritual treasure. Wang Xian kept the connate spiritual treasure flag. The leader of the Thunder Light tribe and the rest had no objections. Other than this connate spiritual treasure, there were dozens of weapons that were not of the wind and thunder attributes. There were the 5 elements, as well as light and dark. Wang Xian kept all of them, including some elixir pills. There were many elixir pills, but they were far from enough for him to achieve another breakthrough. "Leader, I won't take the rest. Leave them to the other disciples and experts." Wang Xian said to the leader of the Thunder Ray tribe and the rest. "These treasures are too valuable. Wang Xian, you should keep these 2 innate spiritual treasures as well." The Thunder Light Tribe Patriarch exchanged glances and shook his head. There were a total of 3 innate spiritual treasures in the Great Thunderclap Academy, but Wang Xian did not want any of them. Patriarch, you can use this. Take it, Wang Xian said with a smile. This? All right. The Thunder Light Tribe Patriarch did not refuse. Wang Xian, come over and take a look at this. This is a very special item, and it's worth a lot. At this moment, the Thunder Ray Tribe's Grand Elder was holding a blue ancient blueprint in his hands. The entire ancient blueprint was emitting a faint blue light, like a wave. When Wang Xian looked over, he was curious. This ancient drawing was like a living thing. The water attribute energy on it condensed into a swimming fish. There were also some sailboats drifting on it. The half-meter-long ancient drawing presented a world. This seems to be the eternal river of heaven. The leader of the Thunder Light Race walked over to take a look and guessed. Eternal Heaven River? Wang Xian revealed a curious look. The eternal river of heaven isn't too far from where we are. It would take a few years to get there by flying. Using the teleportation formation, it would take about a month. It's a place of suppression and also a resplendent place. The leader of the Thunder Light Race explained to him, over 10 billion years ago, 2 races had a huge war there. One of them was suppressed there. Later on, the other race was annihilated by a giant galactic beast and turned into ruins. The entire eternal river of heaven was occupied by that giant galactic beast. Rumor has it that it still lives at the bottom of the eternal river of heaven. No forces dared to occupy those blessed lands. However, many experts went there to seek treasures and train. The eternal river of heaven can be considered a branch of the mountains and seas. It should be the eternal river of heaven. It's just that I don't know what this ancient drawing describes and what it's used for. The Thunder Light Race's Grand Elder looked at the ancient drawing and shook his head. Look at the ripples on it. The ripples are circular and form a lotus pattern. It should be related to the 12th tier water lotus of the eternal river of heaven. However, the possibility is low. The leader of the Thunder Light Race continued, It's true. The Supreme Elder of the Thunder Light Race nodded his head. 12th tier water lotus? Chief, what treasure is that? Wang Xian asked curiously. The 12th tier water lotus can be considered an inborn cardinal treasure weapon. It can also be considered a powerful water attribute cultivation treasure. No one has seen it before. However, the 6th and 9th tier water lotus have appeared before. The leader of the Thunder Light Race explained. Wang Xian nodded his head. An inborn cardinal treasure was not something that a force like the Thunder Light Race could possess. Even if they managed to get their hands on one, it would be snatched away by experts. Supreme Elder, give me this ancient drawing. I'll go there to take a look when I'm free. Wang Xian said. Now that he had helped the Thunder Light Race get rid of the Great Lane Academy, he did not intend to stay here any longer. He wanted to go to other places to look for resources and treasures. The Eternal River of Heaven was a good place to go. After all, the territory of the Divine Dragon was in the ocean. All right, here you go. The Supreme Elder nodded his head and passed the ancient drawing to him. Other than this ancient drawing, Wang Xian was not too interested in the other items. He did not want any of the peculiar and special items either. Chief, let's go to the treasure vaults of the Purple City and Luyan City. All the treasures in the Purple City and Luyan City had been transferred to the Holy Kingdom of the City Lords. Their holy kingdoms had also been transferred to the blessed Grotto Heavens. Wang Xian brought them along and flew over. There were all sorts of treasures, and they had a great harvest. Just as Wang Xian and the rest were collecting the spoils of war, the news of the annihilation of the Great Lane Academy, Purple City, and Luyan City had spread. Being annihilated and being suppressed were two completely different concepts. The big senior brother of the Thunder Light Race had made a breakthrough and fought back. They had expected the Great Lane Academy to be defeated and the 3 major forces to be suppressed. However, none of the forces, experts, and disciples had expected the Great Lane Academy and the other 2 major forces to be completely annihilated. Given the foundation of the Great Lane Academy and the blessed Grotto Heavens that they occupied, it was impossible unless there was an expert who surpassed the Universe Lord realm. Chapter 3422. The Great Lane Academy, Purple City and Luyan City were actually annihilated by the Thunder Light Race. This is annihilation. Hiss, they had a blessed paradise, but it was still destroyed. Isn't this too terrifying? I heard that the elder senior brother of the Thunder Ray race has entered their paradise. This ability is terrifying. In the Thundercloud domain and the surrounding areas, all the forces and experts were shocked when they heard the news from the Great Lane Academy. All the forces were panicking. The heavenly abode of a race was their greatest trump card. That was their greatest safeguard. Even if they were suppressed, they wouldn't be annihilated. They still had a chance to make a comeback. However, once the defense of the Blessed Enclave was broken, the entire race would be wiped out. Who wouldn't panic in the face of such an enemy? He was completely panicking. This made them even more fearful of the first senior brother of the Lightning Tribe. If they provoked the other party, who could guarantee that the defense of their Blessed Enclave was stronger than that of the Great Lane Academy? Not to mention the strength of the Lightning Race's eldest senior brother. He was crowned king in one battle. The Great Lane Academy had been destroyed, Luyan City had been destroyed, and Purple City had been destroyed. Very soon, news of the destruction of the three great factions spread. The blessed lands of the three great factions had all been occupied by the Thunderlight Tribe. Thank you so much, Wang Xian. Please accept our gratitude as well. 2 days later, in the main palace of the Thunder Ray Tribe, the tribe leader and the other experts greeted Wang Xian respectfully. He bowed sincerely. Patriarch, you're too polite. Wang Xian looked at them and smiled. He raised his hand. Haha, this bow is a must. It is our Thunder Ray race's honor to have the help of such a true dragon. The clan leader chuckled. After a moment of hesitation, he continued, Wang Xian, do you have any plans for the future? I might go out to train in the future. To be honest with you, I have my own forces, and I'm not from the ancestral dragon's bloodline. Wang Xian did not hide anything and said, if the Thunder Ray race encounters any difficulties in the future, you can look for me. The clan leader and the rest were slightly taken aback. They had not expected Wang Xian to not be from the ancestral dragon lineage. All right. The group of experts from the Thunder Light race also understood that their little river couldn't contain a true dragon. It was already a great benefit for them to receive Wang Xian's promise. Furthermore, they had obtained so many treasures and blessed lands this time around, which would also increase the overall strength of the lightning race. All right, Patriarch. I'll return to the palace first. I'll probably head out to train soon. When that time comes, I won't be greeting you. As Wang Xian spoke, he returned to his palace. His figure flickered and returned to the Dragon Palace. Greetings, Dragon King. In the Dragon Palace, Prime Minister Turtle immediately bowed to him respectfully. Today, the Dragon Palace was a little deserted. Of the nearly 2 million disciples of the Dragon Palace, more than 1 million had already left and entered the inner regions of the chaotic continent to gain experience. Now that a few years had passed, they had reached the interior. I have some resources here for them to upgrade. With a wave of his arm, Wang Xian placed the corpses he had obtained from the Great Lane Academy, Luyan City, and Purple City aside. There were a total of 14 Pinnacle Universe Venerable corpses. As for the Universe Venerable Level 9 corpses, there were more than 80 of them. There were also many Rank 8 and Rank 7 corpses. This would allow the members of the Dragon Palace to improve tremendously. Dragon King, you actually obtained so many corpses. I'll inform them to come back and upgrade their strength first. Prime Minister Turtle looked at the pile of corpses and was shocked as he replied immediately, 14 corpses should allow the Heavenly Formation's combat strength to break through to the Universe Lord level. Wang Xian nodded. Dragon King, Aosia and the rest have not left. They are devouring a few dragon palaces. It's a little difficult now. We can upgrade their strength to the Pinnacle Universe Venerable level first. In this way, they will be able to break through to the Universe Lord level soon. Prime Minister Turtle suggested. All right, I'll leave it to you. Wang Xian nodded. The Universe Lord level dragon palaces were not that easy to devour. However, once they devoured them, they would definitely be able to break through. How many First Order Universe Sovereigns would the Dragon Palace be able to produce was still uncertain. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded and left. Wang Xian took out the treasures he had obtained one by one. Earth and darkness attribute innate spiritual treasures. The rest were acquired treasures and spiritual treasures. He took out the 5 elements grindstone and the Tai Chi dragon plate and started absorbing immediately. Time passed day by day. Wang. Half a month later, the Tai Chi dragon plate spun rapidly. The 2 divine dragons that looked like a painting let out roars. Wang Xian revealed a smile. The Tai Chi dragon plate had broken through. After the breakthrough, no attack below the Universe Lord level could break through the Tai Chi dragon plate. At the side, the 5 elements grindstone was still absorbing the earth attribute innate spiritual treasure. A heavy aura spread to the surroundings. Wang Xian placed his palm on it. The dense 5 elements power assisted the 5 elements grindstone in refining. The breakthrough was imminent. Before long, a series of roars could be heard. The 5 divine dragons on the 5 elements grindstone intertwined and exuded a terrifying aura. This aura made even Universe First-Order sovereigns tremble in fear. After the breakthrough of the 5 elements grindstone, Wang Xian's strength had increased exponentially. He had no problem fighting against 5 to 6 opponents at the same time. However, it would be more difficult if the opponents had innate spiritual treasures. The Tai Chi dragon plate and the 5 elements grindstone had both improved. This put Wang Xian in a good mood. They planned to accompany the girls for a while before heading out to look for resources. It was only after entering the chaotic continent that Wang Xian deeply felt the cheapness of time. Without the teleportation array, it would take a few years to travel from one place to another. If he were to travel further, he might have to fly for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. A year's time seemed like a day to him. The internal area was recorded in terms of eras, an era of 100,000 years. Wang Xian accompanied the girls to rest for a few years. The disciples of the Dragon Palace rushed back after a short while to improve their strength. Subsequently, Wang Xian got in line to send them to the internal area to save some time. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Wang Xian arrived at the Thunderlight tribe. He walked out of the palace and looked around. Eldest senior brother. Greetings, eldest senior brother. All the disciples who saw Wang Xian stopped immediately and greeted him respectfully. The current eldest senior brother was the strongest expert in the Thunderlight tribe. He was also their savior. Wang Xian nodded at them. After a casual walk, he left through the teleportation array. Chapter 34:23. The water of the eternal river of heaven came from the heavens. It flowed into the mountains and seas. The so-called sky was not really the sky, but an incomparably huge snow mountain. The shape of this snowy mountain was very peculiar. There was a piece extending from the top of the mountain, and the length of the piece was over 1 trillion kilometers. It extended all the way to the warmer regions, where the snow melted into water and flowed down from above. This was the eternal river of heaven. Water came from the heavens. It was also known as the heavenly waterfall. The eternal heaven river was not very far from the Thunder Ray race. It would only take a little more than a month to arrive. Wang Xian had no idea where he should go to train and look for resources. Hence, he decided to come to the eternal river to see if he could find any treasures from the ancient map. The teleportation process still required a period of flight. Flying in the sky, one could occasionally hear roars. Wang Xian's speed had a qualitative improvement compared to before. As he flew, he could tear apart the sky above the chaotic continent. A first-order universe ruler's combat strength was considered a peak expert in the great desolate continent. In less than a month, Wang Xian arrived at the nearest city to the Tianheng River. Eternal Sky City. The Eternal Sky City was not close to the Eternal Sky River. Wang Xian would need a week to fly there. Currently, no faction dared to set up their base near the Eternal River of Heaven, because a terrifying giant star beast was hiding there. A large number of people living there might attract the attention of the star behemoth. Therefore, the nearest Tianheng city was also quite far away. However, the strength of the Eternal Heaven City was not weak. The Eternal Sky City's city lord had the combat strength of a first-order universe sovereign and was considered a large city. Usually, experts who entered the Eternal Heaven River would use the teleportation array to reach here. Wang Xian walked out of the teleportation formation and arrived at the city. He scanned the surroundings. The city was huge. The area of the mountains and rivers was even bigger than the entire Great Thunderclap Academy. There were many people in the city. There were residents and some experts who rushed over from the teleportation formation. It's quite prosperous. Wang Xian scanned the surroundings and revealed a smile. He walked on the road. There were many humans and beasts around him, but it was very peaceful. The city was a little quieter, and there were all kinds of items for sale on both sides of the street. In this place, there was less killing intent and more tranquility. Wang Xian wasn't in a hurry. He headed straight for the Everlasting River and wandered around the area. This is the 100 Cities Alliance? After walking for more than 2 hours, Wang Xian saw a huge building. There were many people going in and out of the building. With a curious look on his face, he walked inside. What entered his eyes was a huge screen with all sorts of quests on it. At the very top was the 100 City Alliance quest panel. The top missions were to kill a third-order universe sovereign realm desolate beast and assassinate the leader of a certain force. This is quite interesting. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he turned on his computer to check on the 100 Cities Alliance. Very strong. Seeing this 100 Cities Alliance, he was slightly surprised. The so-called 100 Cities Alliance, as its name suggested, was an alliance. The 100 Cities Alliance was not just 100 cities, but 108 cities in one alliance. Firstly, the strength of the city required a universe ruler-level expert to oversee it. Secondly, the city was completely neutral and did not participate in anything. The 100 Cities Alliance had formed an alliance for one main purpose, and that was that no one was allowed to fight within the cities of the 100 Cities Alliance. Otherwise, they would be hunted down by the 100 Cities Alliance. An alliance with hundreds of universe ruler-level powerhouses. Who would dare to provoke them? The strength of the 100 Cities Alliance was also very strong within the chaotic continent. However, because they were neutral, the other races were not worried. Moreover, the 100 Cities Alliance was an alliance based on rules, so they were not too feared. If a force were to clash with a city of the 100 Cities Alliance, they could declare a challenge, and the experts of the 100 Cities Alliance would make a statement from a fair point of view. There was a high chance that they would not interfere. Of course, there was a possibility that they would side with the other party. After all, they were in an alliance. The strength of the 100 Cities Alliance also gave rise to the 100 Cities Alliance's missions. Some people could set up missions within the cities, and the 100 Cities Alliance would act as a guarantor. It was similar to the Mercenary Association. Wang Xian looked around and realized that there were many missions related to the Everlasting River. For example, news about the 12th tier water lotus. News about the 9th tier water lotus. Wait, I heard that Azure Dragon Moon obtained a 6th tier water lotus. Is that true? It should be true. A 6th tier water lotus is only an acquired spiritual treasure. Although it is much more valuable than an acquired spiritual treasure, experts will occasionally obtain it. Azure Dragon Moon is a divine dragon of the ancestral dragon lineage. Tsk. I was fortunate enough to see him transform into a divine dragon. He is too strong. The pinnacle bloodline is indeed the pinnacle bloodline. Just as Wang Xian was heading out, a few figures walked in from the entrance and started discussing. Divine dragon body? Wang Xian heard their conversation and raised his eyebrows slightly. It seemed like there was a divine dragon of the ancestral dragon lineage at the Everlasting River. Wang Xian continued to listen but did not get any more information. He shook his head and walked out. He moved and flew up into the sky. He looked in the direction of the Everlasting River and flew over. There used to be 2 powerful races living at the Everlasting River. These 2 races had the combat strength of a universe lord, and their numbers were not small. 10 billion years ago, one force was suppressed by another force, while the other force was annihilated by the astral beast. As a result, there were many grotto heavens and blessed lands there. Moreover, they were ownerless and no force dared to occupy them. These grotto heavens and blessed lands attracted many experts to cultivate in them. According to the information on the artificial intelligence, there were many experts at the Everlasting River. Some of them were there for cultivation, while others were looking for water lotus, a treasure of a water attribute cultivator. Wang Xian sped through the sky and bumped into some people from time to time. 7 days later, a humongous waterfall fell from the sky. At a glance, one could not see the end of the waterfall. It was like the water in the sky. The everlasting river was below, and the ground was washed out by the water. The length was immeasurable. Given Wang Xian's speed, it would take him about 1 to 2 months to fly. The majestic river was filled with rising energy, just like a paradise. At the edge, there were many sailboats. However, the sailboats were not very big. There was a taboo in the everlasting river. Intense battles were not allowed within the everlasting river. It might attract the horrifying astral beast. Chapter 34:24. Is this the eternal river of heaven? Wang Xian looked at the river in front of him. His eyes flickered as he swept his gaze across. Different from ordinary rivers and oceans, the seawater of the eternal river of heaven was emitting a misty white mist. From afar, it looked like a celestial river. He flapped his wings and came above the river. Wang Xian could feel the warmth of the water. He dived into the river. The water temperature was comfortable, but the water of the eternal river of heaven was unusually deep. There are 2 blessed places in the eternal river of heaven. One is at the bottom of the river, and the other is on an island in the middle on the right. Wang Xian mumbled as he recalled the information about the eternal river of heaven. There were more than 2 blessed places in these 2 places. They were the territories of 2 major forces in the past. Around each territory, there were more than 10 blessed places. There were a lot of experts cultivating there. Wang Xian took out the ancient map and realized that the scenery on it had changed. The picture on the ancient map had changed, and so did the number of ships on it. In the past, there were only a dozen ships on it. Now, there were hundreds of them. The surface of the water on the ancient map was still rippling, forming a picture of a water lotus. Wang Xian made a move and immediately flew up into the sky. He swept his gaze across the surrounding ships. The number of ships on the ancient map is the same. What's the use of this ancient map? He was curious as he dived to the bottom of the river with the ancient map. He dived to the bottom of the river again. He scanned the surroundings cautiously and flew forward. The depth of the river was terrifying. However, the entire river bottom was glowing with a blue luster. This was the luster of the water attribute. Cultivating the water attribute here would yield twice the results with half the effort. Wang Xian swam quickly, observing the ancient map in his hand from time to time. Time ticked by. After flying for a day, the ancient map had also changed. There were no more ships on it, only seawater and ripples. This ancient map should be a type of treasure that detects things. What is it detecting? Water lotus? Wang Xian guessed as he continued flying. However, there were no changes to the ancient map for the next 10 days. Other than some changes, there were no other changes. This made Wang Xian feel a little helpless. But if this is a powerful treasure, the Great Tempest Academy will probably make use of it instead of keeping it in the vault. Wang Xian murmured. He hesitated for a moment as he looked at the ancient map. Then, he injected some water attribute laws into it. When he injected the water attribute laws into it, the ancient map glowed and the ripples on it increased. Wang Xian was stunned for a moment before he injected the water attribute laws into it. The ripples on the ancient paper grew faster and faster. In the end, the pattern of the water lotus became clearer and clearer. Other than this change, there are no other changes. Wang Xian frowned. Could it be that the water energy was insufficient? With a flick of his palm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. He placed the ancient drawing on the grindstone. He channeled all his energy into the 5 elements grindstone. The grindstone began to spin, transforming all of it into water-attributed energy that flowed into the ancient blueprint. Waves of majestic energy gushed into it. However, to Wang Xian's astonishment, the ancient blueprint did not change. Instead, the 5 elements grindstone underwent some changes. The water attribute laws of Wang from the king of the water, and the Wang of the on of the water. The Xian and there was. Then it was gone. That's not right. According to the records, there were 2 races that once lived in the eternal river of heaven. One of them was a race that cultivated with two attributes, wood and water. Wang Xian murmured as his eyes flickered. He waved his arm and controlled the five elements grindstone. The wood and water elements surged into the ancient drawing. In the next moment, the ancient drawing changed again. The water lotus formed by the water ripples slowly moved to the front left. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows slightly and flew in that direction. He flew at high speed. As he flew, the position of the water lotus didn't move. He frowned slightly and continued flying. Half an hour later, he realized that the position of the water lotus on the ancient map had changed. It was getting closer and closer to the center. In fact, it wasn't the water lotus that moved, but Wang Xian. Wang Xian was getting closer and closer to his target. After another 10 minutes, the ancient map showed the starting point of the water ripples. Wang Xian stood there and scanned the surroundings. As far as he could see, there were no treasures in sight. He looked down and flew straight down. The depth of the river was terrifying. He had been flying downwards for half an hour, but he still hadn't reached the bottom. It was like an abyss. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Just as Wang Xian continued to dive deeper, waves of ripples spread over. Soon after, Wang Xian sensed a terrifying attack approaching. Water snakes with lotus-like heads appeared. Due to their unique heads, they didn't look beautiful at all. Instead, they looked horrifying. Wang Xian shook his body and the Tai Chi dragon plate floated around him. Bam, bam, bam. Sounds of collisions were heard and Wang Xian's figure flickered. He wasn't afraid of competing in speed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. His arms turned into dragon claws with chains coiled around them. He grabbed at the water snakes. Swoosh, swoosh. The chains bound the water snakes. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and shook his arm. 5 Pinnacle Universe venerable water snakes were killed instantly. Just like that, he got 5 Pinnacle Universe venerable corpses? This feels good. Swoosh. However, at this moment, another horrifying attack appeared. Wang Xian focused his eyes and smashed the 5 elements grindstone forward. Boom. A violent collision was heard, and the 5 elements grindstone trembled slightly. One of the water snakes was sent flying. The azure blue eyes on the lotus head stared at Wang Xian. Water snake with the combat power of a first-order universe sovereign. Wang Xian's expression changed, and he was shocked. There must be treasures here. He was certain. Otherwise, 5 Pinnacle Universe venerable water snakes wouldn't risk their lives to attack him. These water snakes wouldn't attack recklessly either. That is, he looked down and saw that he had already reached the bottom of the river. There was a lotus that was glowing brightly. The 1-meter lotus had yet to bloom and was exuding a strong vitality. Water lotus belonged to the water attribute and was also of the wood attribute. Water and wood had the strongest vitality. No wonder it attacked me. It's because of the water lotus. This ancient drawing is really powerful. Wang Xian's eyes lit up as he stared at the water snake. You're courting death. He moved and flapped his unbeginning saint wings. In an instant, he appeared before the water snake. Chapter 3425. SSS SSS SSS. When the First Order Universe Sovereign Realm Water Snake saw Wang Xian appearing beside it, its azure blue eyes changed slightly and it lowered its head slightly. The refinement above its head expanded gradually and formed a strong defense. Boom! Wang Xian clawed at it with his dragon claws. A terrifying force landed on it, and a huge wound appeared on its head. Wang. At the side, the 5 elements grindstone smashed towards it with destructive energy gathered on it. The water snake was sent flying backwards. SSS, SSS, SSS. It roared, and its eyes were filled with fear. It opened its mouth, and a water snake condensed from the laws of water attacked the lotus that had yet to bloom. Huh. Wang Xian frowned when he saw this. He moved and appeared in front of the water lotus. With a wave of his palm, he destroyed the water snake's attack. At the side, the water snake turned illusory and left in an instant. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and frowned. This water snake is really smart. If it didn't attack the water lotus, it wouldn't have been able to escape. He murmured. With Wang Xian's current strength and the 5 elements grindstone, experts of the same level could only dream of escaping. If Wang Xian were to encounter the expert in the black cloud previously, he was 100% confident that he could kill him, even if he had obtained another innate spiritual treasure. What grade is this water lotus? Wang Xian came to the front of the water lotus and sized it up. He sensed that its energy far exceeded that of ordinary acquired spiritual treasures. It should be a 6th grade acquired supreme treasure water lotus. The previous error has been corrected, Wang Xian murmured. A 6th grade water lotus was much more precious than an acquired treasure. The water lotus could be absorbed and used as a powerful weapon. As a weapon, it would be more powerful than an acquired treasure. This isn't fully mature yet. How long will it take to mature? He raised his eyebrows and hesitated for a moment before placing his palm on the water lotus. A branch extended from his finger and surges of energy flowed into it. Wang Xian was prepared to accelerate its maturity with the progenitor tree. Wang. To his surprise, the 6th grade water lotus that had yet to bloom seemed to be attracted by something as it gradually shifted to the roots of the progenitor tree. He was surprised. The water lotus entered his body and appeared on the progenitor tree in the Dragon Palace. That's surprising. Is it because of the water lotus? According to Wang Xian's understanding, the water lotus could grow continuously. In other words, as long as there was sufficient energy and time, it could grow to the level of a Tier 12 water lotus. A 12th stage water lotus was a treasure that was even more powerful than a primordial supreme treasure. It was an absolute treasure of the universe. Wang Xian chuckled. After sensing the situation of the water lotus, he took out the ancient blueprint and continued reading. Is there a detection range? He continued to pour in water and with elemental energy, but there were no changes to the water lotus on the ancient blueprint. He made a guess and flew forward. In the following month, he searched along the way, but did not encounter a second water lotus. This made him slightly speechless. Isn't the number of these water lotuses a little too little? After wandering around for another 2 days, his eyes lit up when he saw the changes on the ancient map. With a move of his body, he continued to fly forward. On the ancient map, there was another hint in front of him. Isn't this a blessed land of cultivation? I think it's called the Lotus Paradise. 40 minutes later, Wang Xian looked ahead with a slight frown. The Lotus Paradise was the place where the lotus race of the Eternal River used to reside. There were more than a dozen paradise here, and they weren't very far from each other. As for the lotus race, it was the race that was annihilated by the giant galactic beast. At that time, their defense of the paradise was not enough to stop the giant galactic beast. Following the hint on the ancient map, Wang Xian continued to fly forward. Soon, he discovered other experts around him, and there were quite a number of them. All of them were water elemental cultivators. The Lotus Mountain is just ahead. As he continued to fly, Wang Xian saw a huge mountain at the bottom of the river. He flew upwards. There was a huge mountain above him, and the entire mountain was like a lotus emerging from the water. This mountain used to be the core of the lotus race. He flew to the top of the mountain. The entire mountain looked exactly like a real lotus, and it belonged to the Tier 12 category. The 12 petal peaks represented the residence of an expert from the lotus race. There was a huge hall in the center. However, all of this had been destroyed, and there were only some remnants that had been repaired. There were many people in this lotus mountain. At a glance, there were at least hundreds of thousands of people. Some were cultivating, while others were setting up stalls to trade. Wang Xian took a look at the ancient map, and with a move, he headed inside. According to the ancient map, there were water lotuses in the surroundings. This water lotus should have an owner. What a waste of time. Wang Xian surveyed his surroundings before flying ahead. There are quite a number of experts around here. Wang Xian came to the Lotus Mountain, and as he looked around, he could sense the power of more than a dozen universe lords. Most of the power came from the 12 petal peaks. Moreover, majestic energy was coming from within. That should be the core of the paradise, and it was beneficial for cultivation. Although this place wasn't occupied by other forces or races, there were quite a number of experts who came here to cultivate and occupy a treasure land. Tier 3 Water Lotus. Someone is selling a Tier 3 Water Lotus over there. What's so exciting about a Tier 3 Water Lotus? It's not very useful for us. It can be cultivated. Someone has cultivated a Tier 3 water lotus to Tier 6. That would require too much time and resources. Come, let's go and take a look. Behind him, two figures flew past Wang Xian quickly, and they were discussing excitedly. Wang Xian looked over, and there was indeed a water lotus. A Tier 3 water lotus was between acquired spiritual treasures and acquired cardinal treasures. However, it wasn't very useful for universe venerables of level 7 and above. Wang Xian made a move and flew over immediately. He could buy this kind of water lotus that could grow forever. With the progenitor tree around, it could evolve faster. A Tier 3 water lotus can be exchanged for an offensive and a defensive water-based acquired spiritual treasure. Or if you have enough resources, you can exchange for it too. An old man sat in the middle, and a matured water lotus was floating in front of him. His voice reverberated in the surroundings. "I'll take it." Wang Xian walked over, looked at it, and said,